Mistakes burn me out, love just brings me down. Go inside like windshield leaves that slowly leave the ground. Hey, you come back, I wanna give you a chance. Love me like you used to, so we can learn again. The skin is getting round, baby, drink your night away. Maybe we will not regret it, you will not regret me. Laying down under the sun, burning love cause we are young. No one tells us what's done wrong, cause it's just me and you. It's just me and you.
Welcome everybody, it is round number 1 of the 2021 RaceFactory Gaming National Championship live here on Start Your Systems. It is the 2021 Fox Raceway 1 National live, getting ready to go here tonight, racing for the first time Nationals this season. Very excited to bring you guys the action here. Kellen Brower in studio, and of course atom.com presenting us the hot lap here tonight of the Fox Raceway 1 track, which is the 2020 layout of the track. Adam Holm, back racing Nationals with us this year, is going to be bringing you a hot lap each and every week, and you can check out all of his cool stuff over at atom.com, merch and a lot of other cool stuff there. Like I said, the 2020 layout, it's pretty similar in 2021 as well. There's going to be a few changes that you guys will see coming up this Saturday, but the 2020 layout obviously has a few different sections that we'll kind of point out here, notably through these switchbacks. A lot of rollers into this section, and then down the backside of this kind of like whooped out single big tabletop heading up into the back section. This is the kind of hill section of the track, so they'll go up the side of this hill and then come back down and charge all the way into this corner at the bottom of the hill. A lot of people taking the far inside lines through here, and then get on the gas and power your way up this hill, long uphill with rollers all the way to the top. Get hard on the brakes so you don't launch too far off the top. Get back on the power through the corner, and then drop back down into the center of the track once more. Charge down into this corner. A lot of different lines available here as well. You see Holm going to go to the outside here and get a run so he can drive back up this hill and scrub down this step up, land on the brakes and get to the inside at the top of the hill, and then you shoot right back down into the center of the track off the top of the hill into this little left-hand 90-degree corner, up and over a little single jump down the backside of that. Then a small double will lead you into the farthest back section of the track up this hill, and Holm's going to tuck to the inside here, bring us down off the back section, and now we're right back onto the entire flat area of the track. This big kind of hump table, I guess you'd call it, triple jump. Holm lays it sideways there. And through here, you're going to see guys going double, triple, single to the inside through those rollers. Carry momentum through here. Hit this tabletop backside down that one, and then double through the braking bumps into this corner. In and out of the inside. Holm's going to scrub it down to the finish line jump. And here is the finish line jump, but we're not quite done just yet with a lap as he goes through this corner. Inside, outside option. Inside, kind of the anthill. Outside, you're going to be carrying more momentum. Leads you to the inside in the next corner, then a little tunnel jump leads you back down by the mechanics area. Right-hand 90-degree takes you by the mechanics area, and then you funnel back onto the start straight here through the first corner complex. And that is a lap brought to you by atom.com here tonight. Well, again, thanks everybody for joining us here tonight. It is round 1 of the 2021 RaceFactory Gaming National Championship. My name is Kellen Brower, like I said, in the booth, bringing you guys the action of this 12-round series that we will do alongside of the real-life Nationals, which will actually happen this year. This is the first time in a little while, actually, that we've been matching exactly what the real-life National schedule will look like. Supercross was a little bit off because of the triple headers, so we did some alternating weeks here and there. This is legitimately going to be the race that the National Championship runs every Wednesday before that race happens in real life. So we're excited to kind of get back into that flow of things and kind of bring each race before that race weekend comes up. So let's go ahead and talk about qualifying tonight here from the Fox Raceway National, which you'll now see on your screen here. Alexis Leclerc has gone fastest at the top of the timesheets here, the 108 or a 208.1, I should say. Colby Eaglin, Luke Magnetti, Jeremy Seabolt, and Bryce Whelan all in the mix. And of course, Leclerc, your defending champion here in this 450 division. You also see some big names mixed in here, like Tyler Lang moving up to the 450 class this year after being in the 250 class last year. Adam Holm, Dennis Fjellberg, of course, some guys that have battled for championships in the past. If we move over to the 250 class, though, Payson Johnson, again, defending his championship here, will take the number 1 plate to the top of the timesheets here by almost, or I should say over a whole second. 208.664 to Nathan Prince, 209.835. Trevor Burns, Jaden Wilson, Isaiah Dickerson, also all there in the mix. So yeah, we are getting ready to go racing here tonight, as consolation racing action should be just about finishing up, and looks like we actually might be able to check out the 450 consi on track right now. I didn't think there was going to be a 450 consi, but there is, and I'm not sure if looks like this is it right now. I just want to double check in the chat. But I've been starting a little bit later with these streams just because I'm trying to spend a little bit more time with my family, obviously, and the consolation races, while they are notable and good to talk about what happened in them, the main racing, the motos, are more what you guys are here to see. So, 450 consolation races on the track right now, and out front early on is Noah Baker on that 413. He's got Robert Galloway, Jake Webb, and Austin Bear behind him. This works out just like your typical last chance qualifier that you see in Supercross, where the top 4 riders will transfer through into the main motos. 36 riders have already qualified into the motos in the Fast 36, and the remaining riders behind that are now going into the shootout. There's 15 riders going for 4 spots to make the final 4 spots in that main motos coming up later on, with 40 riders in it, 30 minutes plus 2 laps twice. Got Jake Webb, Austin Bear mixed together here, and Bear has moved up to 3rd. Baker has actually lost the lead here, so Noah Baker drops back to 4th. And Brett Thomas, Underground RC, moving his way up. And again, I'll remind everybody that's watching this broadcast that maybe is watching the playback and you're confused why I don't have your skins. I delete every single one of your gear packs and bike packs after Supercross is over. A lot of people in this game love to make completely brand new packs, teams, all that stuff after Supercross ends and heading into outdoors, which, you know, it is what it is, but that means that I don't want my folder to be gummed up with a bunch of old stuff that nobody uses anymore. So I just started new, and even if you're using the same pack that you used in Supercross, I really need you guys to head over to the RaceFactory Gaming North America skins thread that was made by KR Money and drop your download links in there so I can make sure to have you guys on the stream, because as you can see right now, I only have Austin Bear's stuff in this consolation race. But most of the top teams are usually pretty good about that. Just letting everybody else know that's mixed in here that might be disappointed to not have their gear and bike on stream. So Galloway continues to lead the race here. This is just going to be a 4-lap consolation race. There's no time associated with this. So on lap 2 of 4 currently, Galloway still leading the way on that 136. Austin Bear moving up into 2nd now for Yogi Designs on the 944, with Jake Webb right behind him on his Arctic Racing Husqvarna. Noah Baker is settled into 4th after that crash. And further back of him, about 2.5, little over 2 seconds, I guess, seconds back, is Liam Atkinson. Atkinson and Dean Ty. I don't know if that's Leon Ty's brother, perhaps. Oh, and Ethan Parks has made his way into this one as well. So Ethan Parks, the Heckman Productions SYS Racing outfit, in the consolation race right now. He's trying to chase down Carter Hutcherson. Both these guys outside of a transfer position. So again, good to have everybody here tonight. Opening round of the RaceFactory Gaming National Championship here at Fox Raceway. Round 1 of 12. We'll have 2 Fox Raceway Nationals, one much later in the season at round 11. We're kicking it off here tonight, and of course next week will be Thunder Valley. And new to this year as well, and if you weren't here with us on the Grand Prix stream on Monday, is RaceFactory Gaming has reverted back to the old system that I think they haven't done since 2015 or 16, somewhere in that area, which is, this is straight up UID grab was at 5:30 Pacific, 8:30 Eastern on the dot. Everybody had to be in the server at that exact time if you wanted to race here tonight. And we're going to have 250, 450, 250, 450 be the moto format tonight. Normally speaking, last 4 or 5 years, we've had it be where the 250 class goes back to back, and you have your 250 consolation race, 250 Moto 1, a 5-minute break in 250 Moto 2. Then they grab UIDs for the 450 class, 450 consolation race, 450 Moto 1, 450 Moto 2. That's not the case tonight. The 250 consolation race has already gone, and now the 450 consolation race is on the track, but 250 Moto 1 will come up, and then 450 Moto 1 will immediately follow it. So we're getting all the guys right out onto the track and going just like we would see it in real life. And personally, I like that format better. Even back when I used to race professionally in this game, I like that format better because I enjoyed watching, you know, whichever class I wasn't racing. If I was racing 250, I liked watching the 450 race, and if I was racing 450, I liked watching the 250 race. And it was also nice to just kind of mentally not have to wear yourself out twice in just a little, you know, short time span there. You'd only get a 5-minute break between motos, which is kind of tough to regroup after you'd gone 30+2 and been in this deep focus trying to make sure you hit all your marks and not crash too much. So I like the format the way it was, and they changed it to that format that we've seen the last 4 or 5 years here, and that was really just so that anybody that wanted to race 450s didn't need to be here the entire time. You know, the 250s could get their things done and wrapped up and move on, and they could leave as well. And you know, 250 racing would pretty much be done at like 7:30 Pacific, 10:30 Eastern at the latest. But now, obviously, you're going to have later racing in both classes, so it does negatively impact some people that are on the East Coast, and I totally understand that. But like I said, I like that format a little bit better. So white flag is waving here. Consolation race in the 450 class at the opening round of RaceFactory Gaming Nationals. Robert Galloway continues to lead from Austin Bear and Noah Baker. Carter Hutcherson has moved up into the final transfer spot on his JNP number 384 KTM. Now, Ethan Parks is trying to close that gap down. He's got Dean Ty on the 4Loco design. Is that a Husqvarna coming with him there? So a couple of guys trying to work their way forward, but Hutcherson still occupies that final transfer spot, and barring a mistake, he's got some time to work with. Hutcherson looking smooth so far, no mistakes. Noah Baker up the road. Austin Bear and Galloway is far enough away that he can afford to crash and still be in a transfer spot. So it really comes down to Hutcherson with Parks and Ty coming up behind, whether or not they can do anything about the 384 up here. Running out of time, running out of corners. Dean Ty moves around Ethan Parks. Ethan Parks just crashed out of the 5 spot. So Dean Ty now, realistically, the only guy left with a shot to still get Hutcherson. He's going to need some help, though. Little mistake for Hutcherson there. Hutcherson's actually trying to close up on Noah Baker. Austin Bear, Galloway up the road. But so far, it looks like everything is going all right for him. And that gap actually extending out to almost 5 seconds now on Dean Ties. So Hutcherson could really cruise it home here in these last few corners if he wanted to. Up and over the big triple. No problems there. Out front, though, Robert Galloway has taken the win. Consolation race here. Austin Bear will cruise it down to the line in second. Noah Baker going to get third in this one. And Hutcherson in and out of the final corner. Down the home stretch. And Carter Hutcherson goes through into the motos out of the consolation race. Dean Ty misses out, as does Ethan Parks. Liam Atkinson Brett Thomas, Dylan Copeland, T. Johnson 159 with the improper naming convention. Got Jake Webb. Almost a save. Zach Fisher, AJ Meadows didn't finish this one, nor did Cale Braden or Jack Fowler. So just wait for these guys to bring it home and see if cuts affected anything. Hutcherson was 3.4 seconds up at the end of that one, so we'll see if Dean Ty can benefit from the penalty system at all. It's going to be a long shot, no question about it. And Copeland didn't quite make it through either. That's kind of a shock. And we're really just waiting for Zach Fisher to right the ship and make it home here. We're going to see whether or not it changes anything with Hutcherson as he's sitting up here waiting. And it does not. In fact, Dean Ty himself had 3.4 seconds of cut, so Dean Ty would been in a bit of problems there himself had he actually made the pass. But it was Galloway from Bear, Noah Baker, and Carter Hutcherson. And with the consolation races done, that now brings us into 250 Moto number 1 coming up, where Payson Johnson looks to defend his 2020 RaceFactory Gaming National Championship in the 250 class. In what I would only imagine would be his last season racing a 250 at this point. He has climbed the mountain once outdoors last year, climbed the mountain again indoors this year, and he's trying to go for those back-to-back titles in the 250 class. It's all going to start here tonight. We're going to try to find out who his main challengers are. So Johnson on Monday at the MXS Grand Prix of the Netherlands at Valkenswaard, very rough first moto, was going for the lead at the end of the first lap and crashed. Found himself buried down the field and pretty much spent the entire time dealing with battling forward after that, and was able to finish 6th in the first moto. Won the second moto, still got on the podium overall, but definitely a little bit not exactly what he was expecting, I think, out of the first round. And at least showed us that he has his vulnerabilities. All right, so now be a good time to remind you as well. Stream tonight is brought to you by R Jerky. Head over to eatrjerky.com. That's eatrjerky.com, and use the code SYS20. That's SYS20 for 20% off your order. Shout out to the folks at R Jerky, the Wageman brothers, for jumping on board the stream this year and becoming a sponsor. All right, and just on cue, as we load in here, there is Payson Johnson. His teammate Jaden Wilson are doing a backwards lap right now. We've got Chris Post, Braden Tharp, Logan Leitzel, Nick Tomasunis, Nate Brow, Daniel Irvine, Isaiah Dickerson, Trevor Burns, Alex Kerr, Ryan Pinkerton, Dylan Love, Seth Shirley, Sean Klein, Brandon Nygren, Talon Zollers, Dylan Cavacuti, Rogan McIntosh, Ethan Gurst, Jack Gatland, Noah Viney, Alec Horn, John Heilman, Thomas Wilcox, Colton Hansen, Johan Bordeaux, James Wilcox, Lane Wofford, Samuel Renard, Jacob Hubbard, Neil Fitzpatrick, and Hayden Stevenson out here tonight. all ready to go here in 250 Moto number 1. 30 minutes plus 2 laps. So who will win the opening round of the season and set the tone for the rest of this 2021 RaceFactory Gaming National Championship in the 250 class? Luke Sullivan, he was a winner at the Grand Prix of the Netherlands on Monday, trying to sweep the week, if you will, here tonight. But he's got to go through the defending champion in Payson Johnson. It all starts right now live here at Fox Raceway. It's the opening round of the 250 class at the RaceFactory Gaming National Championship right now. Johnson, a great start as Sullivan got swallowed up, and out of the middle it was the Covenant ride of Trevor Spencer picking up the RaceFactoryGaming.com Hole Shot Award. Actually, it's the Studio 8 Hole Shot Award this week, as Trevor Spencer leads them through all the chaos in the first couple of sections. Nathan Prynn out to a good start on that. Phil's KTM is right there in second. Jaden Wilson in third, and Trevor Burns trying to go up the inside of Thomas Sunis, who's got a good start out of the consolation race, in fourth. But Spencer trying to open up a small gap as Prynn settles in behind. Prynn was very fast at the Grand Prix of the Netherlands, but did not get good starts. This is a much better improvement this week here at Fox Raceway to start out the race in second. Now, can he do anything with it in the early runnings, or can Spencer open up a bit of a gap here? Trevor Spencer leads them down at the bottom of the hill, up the big uphill the first time. It's Prynn still right there. Burns sneaks up the inside of Jaden Wilson to take over third, and Seth Shirley on the 441 is right there as well. That atom.com Kawasaki is settled into the 5 spot nicely. We're still looking timing and scoring. Where is your defending champion, Payson Johnson? Look at how close it is at the top of the hill, though. And Nathan Prynn has gone to the lead. Riders crash in the background. Looks like the Covenant teammates got together, but Prynn on the Phil's KTM goes to the front. So Nathan Prynn, the rider out of France, who's actually number 42, but he's using a whole mismatched set of stuff here, because I don't think he's quite got his skins dialed in for that Phil's KTM just yet, but he's out front here looking like he's got number 33 on his back. He ran number 42 this season, earned it after last year. So Spencer, we missed it. It was off screen, but he coughed up the lead right after that big uphill. Not sure what happened to the Covenant number 49, but he crosses the line in second at the end of the first lap. Seth Shirley has settled in right behind him on that 441. Might actually be looking to close up and go for a pass for second here as he goes around the outside. Seth Shirley looking to waste no time in getting to the front. He sees Nathan Prynn sneaking away, and I think Seth Shirley feels he has the pace. So he's all over Trevor Spencer right now. So we see Luke Sullivan buried down the field. Big names like Logan Leitzel also back there. And a mistake. Trevor Spencer does not get the step up. He's off the side of the track. He will rejoin behind Seth Shirley, but he definitely lost quite a bit of time right there. So out front, it is Nathan Prynn from Seth Shirley. Trevor Spencer now up into third, or back into third, I should say. Cooper Hunt has moved his way into fourth, and Thomas Sunis is in fifth, and there is our first sighting. Payson Johnson is in sixth, and he's already trying to work on Thomas Sunis on that 999 to take over the 5 spot. So Johnson looks like he may have got to the corner first, or at least was there or thereabout through the first corner, but maybe got shuffled around a little bit there. Ended up just inside of the top 10 at the end of the first lap. Now settles into sixth. And I think maybe he's learned his lesson from what happened at the Grand Prix of the Netherlands on Monday night, as to not push the envelope too early. He's trying to make this pass happen on Thomas Sunis and finally gets it done. Drops back down the hill. Now in fifth place, Cooper Hunt will be the next target for him up the road, but Hunt is catching his teammate Trevor Spencer. So Spencer, who got the early lead with the hole shot, starting to struggle a little bit here on that Covenant Honda. Maybe just taking a little bit too much time to settle into a comfortable pace, and as such, riders have kind of swarmed him. He's got, gave up the lead to Prin there. Shirley moved by for second after a mistake, and now his teammate putting all kinds of pressure on him. Still early runnings here at the Fox Raceway National 250 Moto 1 on track. Nathan Prin is your leader from Seth Shirley, Trevor Spencer, and Cooper Hunt, who we have on screen here, with Payson Johnson a little further back right now in fifth. Close action though, and I'll tell you what, Spencer looks like he is actually catching back up to Seth Shirley, so maybe Shirley moving into second doesn't have a carrot kind of dangling right in front of him. Prin has already opened up a nice lead, so Shirley has kind of lost the pace that he had to get him there in the first place. And here he comes, folks. Payson Johnson is very quickly sneaking up into this picture, and before long he will be on his teammates. Cooper Hunt and Trevor Spencer just up the road. Go on board with Johnson and see what it looks like from his perspective here at Fox Raceway. 2:14.8 last time by. Scrubbing down the downhill. And he likes this inside line because he can make it work. He somehow gets the power down to the inside and nobody seems to want to take it. So Spencer and Hunt up the road, getting into a battle with each other. Most likely, though, all being teammates, they know Johnson is coming up from behind here in the 5 spot and putting the pressure on him. Hunt's trying to make this pass happen on his teammate, just can't quite get it done yet. So what does Johnson do? He is going to tuck up the inside here. Hunt around the outside. Still has not quite made the pass, and now this is going to be Johnson's opportunity. He pounces to the outside and turns into the inside in the next corner. Dualies, almost tri-lees over the table. And Johnson takes over fourth for the time being. Hunt will have the inside line here, but Johnson holds steady and moves up into fourth. Next up on his list here would be Trevor Spencer for third. And I have to imagine Johnson's looking at the green dot out front, Nathan Prin, as his marker. You can see Johnson trying some different lines, outside, inside. Try not to follow. 2:13 flat last time by for Johnson, a 2:15.4 out of Trevor Spencer, so that's the difference in time between the two riders we're watching here right now. Johnson going to go inside, scrub into the step up. A little short on the step up, and Hunt now trying to pounce on him. Or at least at this point, just staying close. 4-rider battle, a terrific one at that. With Seth Shirley making a small mistake, and now Spencer is sensing an opportunity to close up. Johnson's going to try to get a 2-for-1. We got tri-lees over the table into the back, and look at Johnson charging up the inside of both of them. Tries to get the nod on Shirley as well. Doesn't quite get there yet. Now he's got him, but does he hold it into the corner? Yes, he does. No, actually goes wide. Shirley tries to fight back, but Johnson has taken over second. A nice 2-for-1 pass. And now nothing separates himself from race leader Nathan Prin but time. We'll see how quickly Johnson can settle into a pace and try to inch that time down on Prin. 8 minutes down, 22 minutes and 2 laps remain in this 30-minute plus 2-lap 250 Moto number 1 here at Fox Raceway. It is Prin from Johnson. Seth Shirley now slides back into third. Cooper Hunt is fourth, and Trevor Spencer now back to fifth. So this battle continues to rage on, even now behind Johnson, who is able to slide through this group, and he did so very efficiently. He didn't lose too much time to Prin in the process, and it only took him about a lap and a half really to make it all work. So nicely done for your defending 250 national champion. Hunt and Spencer still locked together here in a battle for fourth. Very close action there. Hubbard now on the 11 has moved his way up into 6th. He's bringing Jaden Wilson with him. Hubbard, the challenger indoors to Colby Eagland on that 250 East Coast. Wasn't quite able to finish it out with the championship, but was definitely a threat all season long. There's just Covenant riders absolutely everywhere. 4th different rider we've seen inside of the top 7 here with Jaden Wilson. So it's Print out front on a Phil's KTM. Payson Johnson in second. On a Covenant Honda, Seth Shirley on the atom.com Cowie. Cooper Hunt, Trevor Spencer, both on Covenant. And Hubbard on that Phil's KTM. And Jaden Wilson also on Covenant. So it looks like Covenant versus Phil's in this 250 class for outdoors. Thomas Wilcox back here in the 8th spot for C4 Designs. Sean Klein coming down the hill in 9th for Evergood. And Noah Viney, a strong ride for the 413. The Monkey Racing KTM dealing with some pressure of Trevor Burns. Burns to the outside on the 50. That line not going to work in his favor. And Viney running strong so far. Pretty sure he's got 413 as his number listed in game, but using a 381 bike right there. Hey, thanks for the sub, Logan Adams. Jaden Wilson is putting all kinds of pressure up the road here on Jacob Hubbard. Oh, Hubbard with absolute filth throws a huge oppo whip, and that was Seth Shirley on the ground. Seth Shirley, the atom.com 441, hitting the deck. That's going to cost him 3rd, 4th, and 5th, and 6th, excuse me, as he goes back to 7th now, just ahead of Thomas Wilcox. So this battle continues to rage on. Wilson putting all kinds of pressure on Hubbard. See if Wilson's got any spot in particular on the track sized up as an opportunity to try to make a pass. And how quickly does he want to do it as well? Good battle between these two. It's kind of a cat and mouse game. It seems like Hubbard has his spots, Wilson has his spots that he's good. Hey, thanks for the sub, Jeff Sparks. Everybody's gonna sub now, huh? Todd Simone, thank you. And Zachary Whitaker, might just have to turn that off if that's gonna be a constant thing. Yeah, everybody just subbed out of nowhere. First Turn Films, KR Money. You were subbed. You unsubbed and resubbed, KR. Come on. And Trevor Foglio, I believe that is. Again, thank you guys for the subs. I really appreciate that. And 115 footage. And another one. Hayden Sweeney. I think that's the last of it. All right, back to the action here. Nathan Prynn out front from Payson Johnson, and the gap has extended since we last saw them. Johnson has made a couple mistakes here. It's out to 11 seconds. 2:10.8 last time by, so he had ran the fastest lap of the race. 2:11.9, so Prynn trying to respond to that pace. I think Johnson either went down or, yeah, it looks like he went down. 2:20.9 this time by. So he must have gotten the gap down to within a few seconds of each other. 2 or 3 seconds there. And then crashed. All right, if you guys are going to keep subbing like that at a constant rate, that's going to get annoying in a hurry. But thank you to Talon Smith, Meneses21, and Zane DiNardo for the sub. I left it on because I like leaving the option up for donations. But obviously there's going to be an alert for a sub as well, because I use that on Twitch. So I'd always have to turn off subs if I wanted to do that every single time. But again, I appreciate the subs. It's not a knock on you guys. I just don't want it to be annoying for anybody watching the playback. Many people have subbed this time. That might be it right there for me. It's like it's just coming through at this random rate. Like it just broke. Yeah, I don't think that this many people just subbed. Like 10, 11 different people just subbed. All right, I'm turning that off. All right, so back to the action. Nathan Prynne continues to lead the way. Payson Johnson in second, and Cooper Hunt has caught his teammate Payson Johnson, so Johnson continues to run into some small problems here and there. 14.5 seconds back now of Prynne. So it must have been another mistake somewhere, and Hunt trying to pounce on the opportunity. .215.3 last time by for Hunt. 2:14.7 is his best, but it looks like he is maybe wicking it up a little bit here and trying to put the pressure on his teammate, or maybe push his teammate into a mistake. And while this has happened, 2:16.5 out of Hunt. Just saw Prynne had a mistake out front. 2:23.7 last time by. It's down to 5 seconds with Johnson closing in. Guys are asking for a onboard lap with Johnson, so as we get to kind of keep an eye on this battle out front, let's go ahead and do that. Just past the halfway point of this race, so we'll go on board here with Johnson and then go ahead and do a top 10 run through the field. It's like that gap not coming down as quickly as it may seem. 4.8 seconds. Johnson's definitely flying, but it's pretty much stagnant there at that 4.8. Nathan Prynne matching him almost corner for corner here. Five seconds now, so Prynne pretty much doing the exact same thing. This is going to be really interesting to see where lap times end up. Because both of these guys now have clear track. They have not really come into lap traffic yet either. All right, it's dropped down to under 4 seconds there. Hey, shout out to Declan Goldby for the $22.99. I think those are some Aussie dollars. Says, love the commentary and content on this channel. Keep it up. Hey, I love you for dropping by and handing over a little donation. Appreciate that, but also coming by, watching the stream, and being here to watch some of this content. Always fun having a real lively chat, and appreciate you being a part of it. So thank you so much for the donation, as Payson Johnson completes this lap and puts down a 2:12.1 to a 2:13.5. So that was a 1.4 second advantage on that last lap alone for Johnson. That gap is definitely coming down. So let's get a top 20 run through the field really quickly here. And this top 20 run through the field is brought to you by atom.com, who also has been providing us with some hot laps this season. And Nathan Prynne going to lead the way here on this Phil's KTM effort. The number 42 out here, Rider out of France, is still leading the race here ahead of Payson Johnson. On the Covenant number 1, the defending champion. Cooper Hunt in third, his teammate on that Covenant Honda. Number 38 ride on the P3 position right now. Trevor Spencer runs in fourth, another Covenant rider on the 49. Fifth for Seth Shirley on the atom.com 441. Sixth for Jaden Wilson. Covenant ride on the number 65. 7th for Ethan Gers. Hey, look, another Covenant ride on the 58 machine here. Oh my goodness, it's another one. Covenant ride of Isaiah Dickerson coming through, and what is this, 8th now? 8th for Isaiah Dickerson. 9th for Jacob Hubbard on the Phil's KTM number 11. And rounding it out, of course, the top 10 wouldn't be complete without Trevor Burns on his Covenant number 50. 11th right now, Jack Gatlin on the MXS Magazine GeoGuessr Yamaha number 369. 12th for Thomas Wilcox on the C4 Designs number 33. They're all going to get hung up here, so Sean Klein is actually going to go into 10th, I think this is? 11th, excuse me, on the Evergood number 10. Nick Tomasunis now moves to 12th, but it's going to actually be 13th as Braden Tharp on the EVP 415 goes by for 12th. 13th for Nick Tomasunis on the MX Locker number 999, available in the App Store MX Locker. So this is now 15th for Jack Gatlin. We saw him. Samuel Renard on the HS Logistics number 374 runs in 16th. Alex Kerr on the Jack Daniels Racing number 84 runs in 17th. 18th for John Heilman. Guess no team for him. He was on Swap Moto Live, but I don't think that team exists anymore. 19th for Luke Sullivan on the Phils number 18. Much rougher time here than he had at Valkenswaard on Monday. And Nate Brow on the 573 Underground RC machine rounds out the top 20. Back out front, just in time to catch this battle for the lead, getting spicy. 20 minutes down, 10 minutes and 2 laps left to go. Payson Johnson has caught race leader Nathan Prynne, and we're about to have a battle royale between the two riders that have been fastest here all week and see who can come out on top. Johnson has slowly brought this gap down ever so slightly, lap by lap, and he's definitely got the pace right now, but it's a whole other thing to make the pass and make it stick. Nathan Prynne is a cagey rider, but Johnson going to jump up the inside. They're going to be side by side, a big set of dualies, and Prynne, I don't know how he was able to save it because I'm pretty sure he got front end locked on Johnson's tire, but Johnson takes over the race lead. And we'll see whether or not Prynne has a response. It was very close in the air. Prynne trying to fight back. Goes to the outside here. Johnson making this inside work. And as he continues to go there, that line's going to get deeper and deeper throughout the race. So Prynne still trying to keep Johnson close, but Johnson now stretching it out to a point where Prynne can't immediately attack back and try to make a desperation block pass or anything of the sort. He's too far back. So what does Prynne have as a response? Big whip for Nathan Prynne there. 2.4 seconds down already, so Johnson has certainly found the next gear. I'm curious to see what Johnson runs this lap because that was a burner to get by, and he lays down a 13.6. Prynne 17.4, so obviously the disparity between the lap times right there alone shows how Nathan Prynne lost the lead. Payson Johnson just riding at a different level right now, and Prynne has got to go back to the drawing board in a hurry. Cooper Hunt back here in the 3 spot. He just put down a 2:17 as well, so he's matching Prynne's pace, but going to need a little bit more help to close down that 12-second gap. Trevor Spencer still runs in 4th ahead of Seth Shirley. They have been pretty much nose to tail for the better part of the last 10 minutes. Isaiah Dickerson has clawed his way all the way up into 6th on the Covenant number 26. Hey, shout out as well to Agris Sixna. Missed him at the GP, but he is back. Agris always dropping by, dropping off donations like it's nobody's business. He doesn't get too involved in the chat, but I always appreciate that he is willing to drop off some donations for us. 50 euros coming our way. And very, very much appreciate that. Thank you so much, Agris, for the continued support. And glad to see you back, buddy. So Dickerson still 6th here. Ahead of his teammate Jaden Wilson in 7th. Jacob Hubbard comes through in 8th. Ethan Gerst in 9th. And Trevor Burns in 10th. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Covenant riders in the top 10 right now. Oh, and Johnson goes down out of the lead. That's just going to be exactly what Nathan Prynne was hoping for. As I think that was Johnson's teammate on the 329 got hung up on him, and that was a lengthy fall-off crash for Payson Johnson. Cooper Hunt now suddenly can see him, and Prynne out front. 10-second lead for Nathan Prynne. And again, just like we saw, Johnson going to have to go back to the drawing board here and figure out what happened, what went wrong, and how he can fix it. It looks like he just maybe charged too hard into the corner and just pushed the front end off and slid it down over the backside of that single jump. And that single jump is slanted as such as the Johnson kind of slid for a long time. So it was kind of the rare like 12-ish second fall-off crash because of it, because it took him so long to get to a stop. The way fall-off crashes work in this game is when the legs off crash happens, you have to get to a complete stop before the rider starts trying to pick himself up again. So by far the worst thing to do is to cartwheel down a hill and just roll for days. But in that case, Johnson slid for a very long time, and it took a long time for the bike to come to a complete stop so that he could start picking the bike back up. And in the end, Nathan Prynne, the beneficiary of it, has now got a 9.6 second lead. And shout out to TKO Smokey, fellow content creator as well, in the chat. 9.99 donation. Appreciate that, buddy. Good to see you here and mingling with the crew. And we've got a battle for the lead suddenly brewing again. 26 minutes on the clock. So 4 minutes and 2 laps to go here at Fox Raceway 250 Moto 1, the opening round of RaceFactory Gaming Nationals. And a mistake for Prynne has allowed Payson Johnson right back into his mirrors. Johnson up the inside, Prynne to the outside, Johnson back to the race lead. Nathan Prynne struggling a bit here in the later stages of the moto as the track is getting worse. And Prynne almost lost the front end. So Johnson back to the lead, but we've already seen him make one mistake. Will he make another, or is this finally the time where he sets sail? You can bet that Prynne is going to try to match him this time, really try to follow those lines and figure out what he's doing. He's certainly pushing right now. Got the gap down to 0.7 again over the finish line jump. 2:24.7, obviously the mistake for Prynne, but a 2:14 flat out of Johnson. He is getting back into the groove a little bit here. Oh, Prynne, what a save. A big kick coming into the corner through the braking bumps. And he had that thing almost completely laid over and just happened to hook the rut the right way. We got riders mixed in here, some lap traffic coming into play, so Prynne now going to have 2 more guys between himself and Johnson, and just like that. Oh, Prynne back to the lead. Johnson, a mistake. Johnson had tucked the front wheel, looks like, after the big step up. And they're working around Neil Fitzpatrick there, who I think is another Covenant rider. They are everywhere out here tonight. I think after this race, I'm going to go through and count how many Covenant riders are on the track. So Prynne down the hill. And Payson Johnson again having to go back to work. Lap traffic kind of getting mixed in here. Riders having to move out of the way of the leaders coming by. There's a race going on and they are currently not in it. Prynne and Johnson nose to tail again. and 29 minutes about to hit on the clock. So this is going to be 3 to go this time, no question about it. Unless they both crash a bunch right here, and then it might be 2 to go. Prin's going to bring it down, though, and Johnson sensing another opportunity to try to make a quick pass and get out of there. So 3 to go here, 250 Moto 1 at Fox Raceway as they cross the line. What can Prin do with Payson Johnson's relentless attacks? They keep coming, and Prin has had no answer so far other than just wait out the mistakes for Johnson, which is, to be fair, worked for Prin, but he can't be relying on that forever. Wow, a teammate of Johnson there comes back onto the track. Hey, thank you again, TKO Smoking, another $9.99 donation. Says, loved your Racer X piece, my guy. Thank you. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Finally got to be kind of on camera and do some Racer X work yesterday here at Fox Raceway IRL, as Johnson's going to go off the track and lose some time. But yeah, go check out the first look video over at RacerXOnline.com. And yours truly did the intro for that video on camera. Got to work with Tom Journet yesterday for the first time, and he's obviously a blast. So it's good times. Prin over the top of the hill. Looks like he's got about a 2-second gap on Johnson. Johnson, every time he makes a mistake, immediately brings the gap back down, but he just keeps making those mistakes. And he's only got about 2.5 laps left to figure it out here on Prin. Down under a second, you can still see Prin just up the road, and Johnson is pushing the envelope, and Prin is giving him everything he can handle. Look at that line from Prin tripling through the inside of the corner, but Johnson kind of matches it, and now he's right on his tail again. Get a lap time check and go back to camera mode as they cross the finish line, jump this time by. And they're weaving through lap traffic. Prin off the track there momentarily. 2:16.4 Johnson, 2:16.3 out of Prin. They literally matched lap times last time by. 14 seconds up on Cooper Hunt, who I have to imagine is kind of hoping these two get together and maybe open up the opportunity for him to win this moto. As fast as these guys are going, they have not necessarily dropped the field. It is still fairly close behind them. So you kind of have to cautiously work here. You can't push the envelope too much and have a lengthy fall-off crash, because you might not just lose the lead, might lose a podium. Johnson giving Prin everything he can handle, though, and just riding so smooth in and out of the corners. Look at that low line for Johnson. Big table into the back. Johnson trying to get that rear tire down. Prin is searching around for different lines. Prin just got back onto the track by that tough block, and Johnson is still right there. So this is the spot Johnson likes here at the bottom of the hill. He loves going to this inside line and kind of blocking off the corner. He does it again. Prin to the outside, though, trying to carry momentum. Johnson, a little wayward, kind of lost the front end on exit. Didn't quite get the same drive up the hill, but he's still right there. Lap traffic at the bottom of the hill. Prin and Johnson absolutely flying, and it's going to be 1 lap to go next time by. Oh, Prin! Oh, no, he throws the front end over the top of that rut at the top of the hill. He was very lucky not to go down, but Johnson takes over the race lead before the white flag waves. So now Johnson has to settle in here, and let's see if Prin tries to go back on the attack. Or does he again wait for a Johnson mistake? Which, oh, Prin down and off the bike. Sideways in the background. landed in the hay bale and an instant fall off. That is Payson Johnson's race at this point, barring a disaster on this last lap. So Johnson takes the white flag and Prin takes a trip to the soil. Cooper Hunt, like I said though, with that mistake from Prin, Hunt is not too far back of him and still within his shot here at an opportunity to get second. He's about 7-8 seconds down, it looks like. Then Ethan Gerst has moved his way all the way up into fourth. So Ethan Gerst absolutely charging here, has gotten around Seth Shirley. Kind of missed some of this mid-pack battling going on here. Trevor Spencer now finds himself 6th. Trevor Burns 7th. Jaden Wilson 8th. Hubbard 9th. And Sullivan has worked his way all the way up into 10th. He was just inside of the top 20 when we saw him at that halfway point. Now working on his teammate Hubbard here to try to get up into 9th before this is over. And Sullivan, if he can carry the speed that we saw at the Grand Prix on Monday, might be one of Payson Johnson's biggest challengers this year. So he is just trying to make amends for this early mistake here tonight, and does so with a nice pass on his teammate. Outside to outside option, gets around Hubbard, moves up into 9th. So back out front, Payson Johnson at the bottom of the hill, looking at about 4 corners until he takes the opening moto win of the season. Prin definitely gave him a run for his money, but it just wasn't enough in the end with that late mistake, and I'm sure he'll be kicking himself over it. But Johnson gonna be thrilled with this one because he had to work for it, no question. This one was not necessarily the easiest win of his career to this point, but it'll definitely be satisfying to start off on the right foot here tonight. Still got to get it done in Moto2 to win the overall, but at least Johnson has backed up that title with a win at the season opener. Payson Johnson takes the Moto1 victory here at Fox Raceway. Nathan Prin led so much of this moto and will come home in second, 10 seconds down in the end. Cooper Hunt, the definition of consistency in this race, ends up in third, ran those 2:14, 2:15s all race long to end up on the box. And this one, Gerst down! Wow, what a change of events here in basically the last turn as Seth Shirley is going to go by, and Shirley with a little bike humping in the air. He's excited about it. Just got to make it through this last straightaway good, and Seth Shirley going to benefit from a late race mistake there as Ethan Gerst had clawed his way up into 4th, ends up 5th in this one with that last turn crash. Unfortunate turn of events there, and then Trevor Spencer will bring it down in 6th. Trevor Burns, solid effort for him here in 7th. Oh, riders down. That is Wilson down with Sullivan in the last turn. So Sullivan must have just gotten to Jaden Wilson. He's going to have to kind of cut the track to get back on there. And so Hubbard ends up 8th in this one. Sullivan trying to still end up 9th behind Wilson, but he's going to fall just short in the end. Wilson 9th, Sullivan in 10th, Gatlin 11th, Klein in 12th. John Heilman will be 13th in this one. Alec Horn, solid effort for him there in 14th. Thomas Wilcox will be 15th in this one. 16th for Logan Lights, a little wayward there for the 13 machine. Brandon Nygren ends up in 17th, just ahead of Lane Wofford. And 18th, Nick Tomasunis goes to the consolation race, and he's going to get some points with a 19th place finish as Braden Tharp rounds out the top 20. Rogan McIntosh, first rider not to score points, ahead of Talon Zollers, Samuel Renard, and Seth Carr, the first rider, a lap down here as we wait for those cuts to come in and take a look at that top 20. Ooh, looks like Tomasunis lost 19th on cuts, goes to 20th, and then a couple guys lost positions to Lane Wofford. Wofford goes from 18th to 16th based on cuts from Nygren and Leitzel, and Wilcox goes from 16th to 14th based on 15th to 14th based on cuts from Alex Horn. Klein jumps around Gatlin for 11th. Sullivan jumps past Wilson for 9th. A lot of changing positions based on cuts, but Payson Johnson confirmed as your Moto 1 winner here tonight at Fox Raceway in the 250 class. Quick shout out, of course, again to Agris Sixna. The €10 donation says, what about MXGP? My prediction is Prado, Geyser, Hurlings. I like the idea that Prado is going to challenge more for the championship this year. What I'm interested in, though, is you putting Hurlings third, because my opinion is Hurlings either wins the title or he gets hurt again. It's so hard to bet against Hurlings when he's on, and I guess it could be a case where he gets hurt later in the season and still finishes third, but I think if Hurlings finishes the season healthy, you got to pick him as the champion, and if he doesn't, it's a toss-up, in my opinion, between Prado, Geyser. I think Cairoli still has it in him to win some GPs and challenge there for sure. I think Febvre, if he can make it a full season healthy, might have something to say about those guys as well. And then it was exciting to see Ben Watson actually beat Hurlings on the weekend in Great Britain. I think it was Ling. So many storylines for GPs. I'm just looking forward to talking about it when it comes around. All right, 250 Moto 1 is in the books. And 250 Moto number 2 is, I'm sorry, 450 Moto 1, I should say, is coming up next. All right, 450 Moto number 1 coming up next. And a reminder again, please head over to eatrjerky.com. That is eatrjerky.com. Use the code SYS20, SYS20 for 20% off your order from the folks at R Jerky. Look, it's quality beef jerky, folks. It's as simple as that. I know all you guys here, we're all gamers. We all keep a snack at the desk. Heck, I got a bag of pistachios and pretzels on my desk right now. But you could have a bag of beef jerky on your desk right now. You could be snacking on that while you're watching some RaceFactory Gaming Nationals. And I'm just saying, it's a 20% off. All right, 450 Moto number 1 on the gate is mentioned. Logan Heagney, Daniel Mills, Tyler Lang, Devin Davis, Blake O'Brien, Colby Eaglin, William St. Laurent, Austin LeBeau, Robert Galloway, Zach Rexroad, Adam Holm, Jack Haley on a 2-stroke out here tonight, looking at ripping it up. Chase Blakely, Caden Speck, Jeff Cooper, Dylan Smith, Brandon Larson, Jeff Cooper, Noah Bindis, Braden Cassianetta, Austin Baird, Jeffrey Bruns, Jeremy Cohenauer, Kyle Carpenter, Cade Matherly, Alexis Leclerc, your defending champion on that Rockstar Husqvarna, Dennis Fjellberg, Jeremy Siebold, Reed Young, Noah Baker, Ash Deering, Bobby DeSell, Cole Gress, and Bryce Whelan all out here tonight. Let's see if I missed anybody. I got Kyle Carpenter. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is time to kick things off the 450 class here, the 2021 RaceFactory Gaming National Motocross Championship in MX Simulator. The best of the best have descended on Fox Raceway to decide who wins the opening round of the season to kick things off in this 12-round campaign where Leclerc goes for his record fifth Pro Motocross Championship in MX Simulator. Nobody even has 4. Leclerc looking to get 5. But somebody of this group would love to take him down, knock him off the pedestal. We'll see who has the best chance of doing that here tonight at Fox Raceway shortly. Looks like we are waiting on the 87 to load in. There he is. And we are ready to go. It's time to kick off the 2021 RaceFactory Gaming National Championship in the 450 class here at Fox Raceway. Let's drop that gate. No surprise here. Leclerc in and out of the first corner out front. And Alexis Leclerc, your defending champion, picks up the Studio 8 Whole Shot Award as he leads Luke Magnetti over the line there. Colby Eaglin right there, funneled in behind. Dennis Fjellberg on the 3, also in the mix. I think that's DeSalle on the 34. Adam Holm also got a good start, but it's Leclerc leading here on the first lap. Alexis Leclerc trying to stretch out the race lead here in the early runnings. He's always so good at that as well, trying to put in basically qualifying laps right from the get-go and open up a lead that is insurmountable as quickly as possible. So up and over the top of the hill, Leclerc on the first lap here. Magnetti still funneling in right behind him in second. Colby Eaglin dropping down the hill in third. Either one of these guys perhaps knock on the door of Leclerc out front, try to take over the race lead before long. Leclerc already opening up that gap. Good start for Brandon Larson here on the stance. Yes, they're on Huskies because I don't have their skins. Look at that. Eaglin by Luke Magnetti for second, just like that. So we'll get a good glimpse into whether or not Eaglin has the pace here. The now two-time 250 Supercross champion, winning back-to-back years in that 250 East Division. So Leclerc leads lap number 1 here at Fox Raceway of this 30-minute plus 2-lap 450 class moto number 1. Leclerc from Eagland, Magnetti third, Brandon Larson crosses the line. He is in fourth. Devin Davis, a good start. He is in 5th. Trent Adams, 6th. Caleb Hall, 7th. Jack Haley on the 2-stroke is in 8th. Jeremy Siebold is in 9th. And Bobby DeSalle rounds out your top 10. So Haley, for those of you that are have not been with us recently at least, Haley at one of the Atlanta Supercross rounds, I think it may have actually been Atlanta 3, rage quit while inside of the top 5, I think it even was. And basically said he was not having fun with the track, not really having fun with the game. So it seems like this whole riding a 2-stroke in the outdoor championship thing is essentially his way of bringing fun back to the game for him, which I always appreciate. I like when these guys try to have fun with it and it's not too try-hard level or anything of the sort. So Haley out here on a 252 stroke. This Jack Daniels Racing effort. Working on making some passes. He's in 7th. Around the outside, moves up into 6th. Boy, wouldn't that be something if Jack Haley won a moto on a 252 stroke out here? But he's got Jeremy Siebold knocking on the door. That number 9 Covenant machine. Siebold funnels in behind Haley. So they drop down the hill. Oh, man, a big kick there for Siebold. He was a little sideways there. Couple of Supercross champions battling it out. Oh, big whip for Haley and actually clips Seabolt's rear tire. Somehow Seabolt landed sideways and just kicked right back up. Fortunate not to fall off the bike because that could have been a heck of a lot worse. We'll peek back out front and see it's still Leclerc from Eagland. Lap time check on our first full lap. A 2:11.3 out of Eagland. A 2:10.3, excuse me, out of Leclerc. So Leclerc puts down the fastest lap of the race, but Eagland is somewhat matching him, while the rest of the field deals with each other. Back here with Haley, working on Brandon Larson now. And Devin Davis just up the road of these guys. See Seabolt, look at the line Seabolt just took right there, basically treating that entire section like a whoop section. Makes the pass on Haley, now alongside Brandon Larson. Dualies over the RaceFactory Gaming table into the back, and Seabolt's going to get a 2-for-1 to go up into 5th spot. A nice move there for the number 9. Oh, but a mistake right there, and Larson right back on through. Seabolt trying to charge up the outside here to the top of the hill. Still trying to get that inside rut, and he does. Nice move. So Devin Davis just up the road here in 4th. A good start here for Davis has put him in a good position early on to try to challenge, though he is at the front of the essentially massive freight train right now. So if we just take a look here as Davis comes up the hill in the back section, look at this grouping here. Seabolt behind him, Haley behind that. Then comes Larson. You got DeSell in there. That's Copeland, 87. That's a Speck going through. You got Holm. Look at the riders just freight train together here. It's Fjellberg on the 3. Try to see if we come across any heavy hitters that are at the back of this group. Everybody funneling in quite nicely. But then back to this Haley Seabolt situation behind Devin Davis. Seabolt on the 9 trying to work on Davis on that 29 Fields Racing KTM. Good line for Seabolt to the outside here. Now trying to cut back across. Get to this left side of the track so he can do this line again, and it works again. Seabolt, incredible line right there that he does. He kind of soaks up the first jump, then doubles so he can pile drive into the face of that like launch double and more or less treat the whole thing like a whoop section. We'll try to catch him doing it on board next time by because it's incredible to watch. But he's now moved up to 4th, and it's a ways to Luke Magnetti. Still Eagland 2nd and Leclerc out front, but it's still just a 4-second gap. Eagland into the 2:10s as well with Leclerc at a 2:10.7. He is keeping him honest. And really, that's all you can ask out of trying to keep Leclerc honest at this point. Leclerc is so good outdoors. Supercross has been a bit of a rocky road for Leclerc over the years, but outdoors he has been solid as a rock. And it's so hard to match his pace for as long as he goes. But so far, so good. Eagland, 8 minutes into this thing, has at the very least ran a similar enough pace that he's kept Leclerc close enough for that fall-off crash to put him into the race lead if Leclerc has one. Lays down a 2:11.3 to a 2:09.7 out of Leclerc again, resetting fastest lap of the race out front. Leclerc, that dude on X Games mode out front right now. It is Magnetti. Still in 3rd though. Then Seabolt. Haley now up into the top 5 on a 2:52 stroke. Everybody loves that. Devin Davis 6th, Bobby DeSalle 7th, Caleb Hall 8th, Kyle Carpenter 9th, just ahead of Jeff Cooper and Tyler Lang and Trent Adams. 4-rider battle here for 9th, with K-Carp leading the freight train. Oh, mistake for K-Carp, and through goes Jeff Cooper and Lang. Lang trying to close up here onto Jeff Cooper. And Cooper launched that double. Thought he was OJing, but ended up just kind of landing in transition fairly smoothly. So this battle for 9th continues. And the top 10 definitely getting more spread out. If you look at the track map, upper right-hand corner of your screen, you can see the green dot is the leader. Second behind him, still going to be Eaglin there. Third, my mind just went blank, but you can see the gaps. And everybody behind this group right here with Lang is pretty much still clustered together, barring maybe 10 or so guys off the back right now that are separated, kind of riding their own individual races back there, it looks like. So watching Tyler Lang trying to work here on Jeff Cooper. Good battle for 9th. Nothing in it between these two. The outside for Lang, trying to make something happen. Gonna go to the inside here then. And finally gets that pass done on Jeff Cooper. Now they have caught Caleb Hall, because they're both kind of freight training with each other. And Caleb Hall gonna be under attack here from Tyler Lang. Lang has a peek up the inside into the big step up, but not quite close enough just yet. Lang does make that pass with the same line that we were seeing Seabolt use not too long ago. And Seabolt has now extended his gap from Haley. So Lang now 6 seconds off of Devin Davis. So Davis up the road here in 7th. Bobby DeSalle quietly working on a strong ride here in 6th. Jack Haley still on the 252 stroke here in 5th and just laying down 213s like it's nobody's business. 213 flat is best. 213-1 last time by. A lot of racing left here in this 30-minute plus 2-lap 450 Moto number 1 at Fox Raceway. Curious to see actually Seabolt's lap times. Oh my goodness, he just launched that table to flat, or basically to that transition of the rollers. This looks like it's going to be a pretty good lap. 2:10.2. So Seabolt right now, one of the few guys on track that is able to match that pace that Leclerc is putting down out front. In and out of the braking bumps there. I just want to sit on board here with Seabolt and watch him through this this roller section after the big step up and see what it's like from his perspective to do that kind of whooped out tire tap thing that he's been doing. So you go over the step up here, he's going to charge down to the outside and then come out of this corner and kind of soak up this first jump a little bit. Oh, he's not doing it anymore. So he's changed it up and now he's going double quad through there, so he's just trying to jump as far as he can off of it. But he's soaking up that first jump and kind of doubling, and then doubling up to the next section. And the speed he's carrying is quite incredible. There's Magnetti still in third. But Siebold looks like he might be closing up on him a little bit. And then, of course, Leclerc still out front. So when we come up to the hill on the other side of the track here, we'll get a quick indication of the gaps. You can see Leclerc out front going up the back hill here. So there's Leclerc. Then you'll see coming down behind there, that is Eagland still in second. So it's not too far of a gap back to Eagland. And then behind Eagland, it's not too far of a gap back to Luke Magnetti. And then Siebold right behind him. So the top four really isn't too far apart. 18 seconds in it between them. And then 11 seconds now back to Jack Haley. He's got Bobby DeSell right on him. And then Devin Davis further back of that. So we've got a mixed match of battles going on kind of throughout the top 10. Some guys are close, some guys a little bit farther away. It's more about closing the gap down to those battles for everybody right now. Maybe the closest one, or the one that's brewing right now, is this one where Jeremy Siebold is catching Luke Magnetti in a hurry. Siebold absolutely flying around this Fox Raceway track. 2:10.5, so he keeps backing up these 2:10s. And if there's any kryptonite on Leclerc's resume, it's that he is not necessarily the strongest closer in a race. He's always got good race pace, but if he starts making a few mistakes here and there, they seem to compound in a hurry late in these motos. So Siebold still at least within reason of discussing. There's that line right there. Look at how hard he attacks that section, but it wasn't exactly how he was hitting it before there. But you can see he has caught Magnetti very, very quickly, and I'd have to imagine that the pace he's running, if he's able to keep it on, wouldn't be long before he catches his teammate Colby Eagland there in second. Look at him doubling up the hill there. All kinds of pressure here being applied by Jeremy Siebold onto Luke Magnetti in a battle for third. The opening round of RaceFactory Gaming Nationals. Siebold just right in behind him. Nothing in it between these two. Look at this line. Triple double for Siebold. Thought he might take a peek up the inside, but not quite close enough just yet. Magnetti definitely holding his own, but Siebold just trying to kind of crack the dam here, if you will, and break on through. Look at this outside line carrying so much speed to that outside line. Turns into the inside. He clips a tough block. Magnetti trying to fight back. It's still side by side, and Siebold finally finishes that pass for third. So Siebold moves up into third. Next on his list will be his teammate Colby Eagland. They have 12 minutes and 2 laps left to go, and they're all trying to run down this man, Alexis Leclerc. Oh, Magnetti back by Siebold. A mistake. So Siebold, just as quickly as he got into the 4 spot, or the 3 spot, excuse me, made a mistake, and Magnetti went back by. Up the inside, Siebold gonna get back into third just like that. I cannot believe they can double up that hill. That's insane. So 4.7 seconds off of his teammate, trying to claw that gap down. They got Luke Magnetti in fourth now, and Jack Haley is still inside of the top 5 on a 2-stroke. So clearly the having fun part of the game that he is experiencing is helping his riding, because he is willing and dragging that 2-stroke inside of the top 10. Bobby DeSalle still here in the 6th spot, just ahead of Tyler Lang, who has slowly but surely crept his way up into the picture throughout this race. And a good effort for the 2020 MX2 World Champion. Oh, Haley just got up from a crash, and Lang is there to take advantage of it. So Lang shoots by into 6th, which means DeSalle just got by for 5th. And there's now like a 3-rider-ish battle going on between these 3. Haley gonna have to regroup and try to challenge to get his way back into the top 5. Still right there though, on Lang. Looks like that's brewing into a good battle. We'll go back and check on Caden Speck right now in 8th. A couple seconds up on Kyle Carpenter. Carpenter has kind of been living in this just inside of the top 10 spot the entire race, and Adam Holm has now worked his way back into the top 10 as he returns to MX Simulator Professional Racing after his hiatus following the Daytona Supercross earlier this year. Little slide out coming out of the corner. We saw Holm back at the races at the Grand Prix on Monday, but still good to see him actually back out here for the RaceFactory Gaming National Championship. And of course coming on board as a stream sponsor with his atom.com. So great to have him around and helping out. Leclerc out front though, and making it look easy, and the gap is staying pretty stagnant at that 14-second lead. It's pretty much been that way for the last 4 or 5 laps now at this point. Eaglin hasn't been able to cut into it all. Leclerc isn't really looking like he's trying to open it up. He's just trying to play it safe, keep the pace going. .212.6 for Leclerc. We'll get a quick side of the lap times here. 2:13.8 for Eaglin last time by. He was 2:10.7 at his best. See if he's kind of hovering around where Leclerc was. Yeah, 2:13 flat. It's Seabold who's on the move though, 2:12.4. It's not really on the move in terms where he can catch Leclerc per se, but he's definitely catching his teammate for second. Magnetti at a 2:13.2. Bobby DeSalle. Oh, he's not bringing that back. DeSalle down just as we went on board with him. So Lang goes by. There goes Haley by for 6th. And DeSalle rejoins now in 7th. Speck was also just down, so Holm goes by for 9th. And that's going to allow Devin Davis to kind of close up onto his teammate there for 10th. See if he can't make something happen. Got a request for some onboard with Leclerc, so we'll check it out. Kind of see what he's doing in this back section here. Gap staying just right at that 14.5-second mark. I mean, Eaglin not really making any inroads back there. Oh, Seabolt down at the bottom of the hill. So Seabolt cartwheels his way down the hill and loses a lot of time and loses 3rd spot to Luke Magnetti, who has just been sitting right behind him waiting for that to happen. And it finally has. So Seabolt hits the ground. Colby Eaglin might be breathing a bit of a sigh of relief there. Now Leclerc looking at the same gap, but now Magnetti goes down just as he had gotten back by for third. He goes down and Seabolt scoots around. Magnetti gonna get up, still with some time on Tyler Lang. But Lang has moved his way up to fifth, and certainly we'll see where the gap is to fourth now and think he has a chance. And Jack Haley coming through. Let's go on board two-stroke lap with Jack Haley, and I'll just let you guys listen in. That is a lap with Jack Haley on a two-stroke here at Fox Raceway as he currently runs sixth, and he is making that thing sing all around the racetrack right now. 27-ish minutes into this race, so we still got some time on the clock, and of course 2 laps after that. Leclerc is out front, but really has not extended that gap on Eaglin at all. In fact, Eaglin is slowly biting into it a little bit here. Keeps fluctuating right around that 14-second mark. Leclerc dealing with a little bit of lap traffic might have contributed to the gap coming down to Eaglin, but you still got to give Eaglin some credit here because pretty much this entire moto he has just slightly been off the pace of Leclerc. It's almost been the exact same pace, but he just lost too much ground in the beginning stages and wasn't close enough to kind of stick with him. And then it fell off of this, kind of 10-second cliff and stayed there. Like, it didn't really get much worse than, 11 to 14 seconds as a gap. And he's just been waiting for an opportunity, but Leclerc has not given him one. He has not crashed. He's not made any big mistake. Riding like a champion is Leclerc. And we're about to see the 2 defending champions kick off the season with moto wins. If things keep up the way they are with Leclerc out front. 2:15.6 for Eaglin and 2:15.1 for Leclerc. So again, matching the pace. Problem for Leclerc though again is he is still weaving through some lapped traffic right now. And it's always a little bit more difficult to navigate that and not kind of put in the same laps you're putting in, regardless of whether or not lap traffic is in your way. They could easily just jump right out of the way, but you still hesitate just a little bit more. You think about your line selection just a little bit differently. You don't want to get caught up in somebody else's crash. Looks like that 2-lap card will come out next time by, though, for Leclerc. He jumps up to the top of the hill here, and time is winding down here in this moto. 10 seconds left on the clock. Leclerc still occupies an 11-second lead on Eaglin. Seabolt another 13 seconds back of that. Then Magnetti in 4th, with Tyler Lang having moved up to 5th around Jack Haley on the 2-stroke in 6th. Bobby DeSalle running 7th ahead of Kyle Carpenter in 8th. Adam Holm in 9th right behind him. And Caden Speck is in 10th. I always press that button on my controller, and I never mean to do it. Always taps me out. Take a look at this Holm Carpenter battle. Almost nothing in it. Working for 8th spot here is Holm. Carpenter wants to keep it, though. Holm was definitely thinking of an inside move there, but just kind of missed the rut and allowed Carpenter to kind of sneak away. So 2-lap card is officially out here at Fox Raceway 450 Moto 1 of the opening round of the 2021 RaceFactory Gaming National Championship. Here comes Holm up the inside for 8th on Carpenter, up the top of the hill, and he's got it. Nice move for Holm. Waiting for Carpenter to make a mistake with line selection, really, and immediately pounced on the opportunity once Carpenter missed the corner. So DeSalle up the road is in 7th. Jack Haley is in 6th, as mentioned. Tyler Lang in 5th. Luke Magnetti 4th. Jeremy Seabolt 3rd. Eagland in 2nd, and Leclerc continues to lead. Not a lot of mistakes. Oh my goodness, as I went on board with Leclerc, he was just about over the front door of the bike there. And what a time to talk about not having mistakes. But really, a lot of the guys inside of the top 10 have ridden a pretty mistake-free race. And for those of you new to MX Simulator racing in this game, that is very uncommon. It is so hard in this game to do 30 minutes plus 2 laps at speed and not at least have a fall-off crash or just a couple slide-outs here and there. It's probably the toughest motocross game in the world. It's definitely on par there as the toughest with MX bikes. They're pretty close. Depends on which one you feel like you can learn easier, I guess, but such a challenge to go this pace for this long, and Leclerc and Seabolt have pretty much done it the entire moto without any large mistake on either side. So white flag about to come out for Alexis Leclerc here in 450 Moto 1. Eaglen still 2nd, Seabolt 3rd, Magnetti 4th. Lang, he just went down in 5th, and that's going to give Jack Haley the top 5. So Haley on the 2-stroke, the Jack Daniels Racing number 2 effort out here. Pounces immediately on the opportunity with Lang making a mistake to go through into 5th. Now the question is, can he hold it here, or does Lang have something to say about it? Oh, Haley. Riding the nose of that 2-stroke. He is pushing the limits of it, though, to make sure Lang stays behind him. And Lang, on the flip side of that coin, is pushing his limits to try to make a pass on Jack Haley. behind them is enough time that he can afford to have a crash and still be ahead of Bobby DeSalle. So far, so good for Haley. He is just keeping that gap steady. Lang not able to respond to it just yet. A little further up the road, Magnetti not too far off of Seabolt for third. It's all Leclerc out front, though. Back to the Haley battle. And it's actually opening up in Haley's favor. He's got to go around down to Ryder, though. But no harm, no foul. So Lang still losing ground. DeSalle 7th, Carpenter 8th. Fjellberg all the way up to 9th, just ahead of Adam Holm and Caden Speck. So that'll be a fun battle to keep an eye on here down the stretch as Holm tries to catch up to Fjellberg. I mean, heck, not even down the stretch. He's trying to do it right now. Is he trying to do this double? No. I think he was trying to swing out and size that up. Meanwhile, out front, though, Alexis Leclerc, just like we saw out of Payson Johnson in 250 Moto 1, is... shut up. All right, I hate stupid Alexa. Anyway, here it is. Alexis Leclerc takes the win in 450 Moto number 1 at Fox Raceway, and I am unplugging Alexa now because she doesn't realize that Alexis Leclerc is a human. All right, Eaglin crossed the line in 2nd. Jeremy Seabolt there in 3rd. Luke Magnetti will wrap it up in 4th. Jack Haley coming down and finishing this one up in 5th. Tyler Lang is going to kick himself for that late crash, but he will end up 6th in this one. 7th will be Bobby DeSalle. Carpenter 8th, and here is that battle. Fjellberg and Holm goes down just as we get there. So Fjellberg's going to end up 9th in this one. Holm picking himself up off the deck. Might still be in 10th. Caden Speck is just getting there. So it's between these two for the final spot inside of the top 10. DeSalle was able to cross the line 7th. Carpenter finished up there in 8th. Oh, Speck got a great drive here. Coming down this last section. It's just no spot to pass here. So Holm is going to hold on as Fjellberg ends up 9th. Holm 10th. Speck 11th. Devin Davis, solid ride for him there in 12th. Bryce Whelan will be 13th. Jeremy Cohenauer brings it home in 14th. William St. Laurent will be 15th in this one. 16th way back here is Braden Carter. He had a very rough Moto 1 here, coming off the Supercross title. So he'll want to put this one behind him immediately. But he ends up there in 16th. 17th for Cade Matherly. 18th for Caleb Hall. 19th for Jeff Cooper. Trent Adams will be 20th. And then behind that was Blakely, Donovan, Bruns, Castellaneta, Hutcherson, Smith, Rockefeller, Deering, Young, Baker, Galloway, Larson, Heagney, Rexroad, Gress, LeBeau, Bendis, Bear, O'Brien, and Mills. Looks like he never actually did start this race. So let's take a look at the points bank position. Jeff Cooper jumps up a bunch of spots to 17th. And everything else stays the same. So Leclerc confirmed as your winner here in Moto number 1. And what I wanted to do Haley. Oh man, I for sure thought that showed you what dyno they were on. Darn. Never mind. I don't know what dyno Haley is on then. Sorry. Can't find that information out without asking him, I guess. I'd have to look at the demo file to figure that out, I guess. Alrighty. We are going right back into some more racing action here. 250 moto number 2 coming up. Payson Johnson trying to sweep the day like he swept the day at the opener last year. So Johnson, your winner in moto number 1. And again, a reminder to you fine folks sitting at home, head over to eatrjerky.com, eatrjerky.com. Use the code SYS20, that is SYS20, for 20% off your order from R Jerky. The folks over there at the Wageman family, Robbie and RJ, 2 privateer level guys out there shredding it. And we appreciate them coming on board with the stream this year. All right, so again, 250 moto number 2 coming up next. And what do we think, chat? Got 300 people hanging out here tonight. Good to see y'all in the chat. What is going to happen in this second 250 moto? Can Payson Johnson get it done again? Does Luke Sullivan turn it around from his bad first moto and end up close to the top step of the podium? Nathan Prynn, he led so much of that first moto, crashed it away with a couple laps left to go. Might he have something to say about it with Johnson? Or will somebody else step up to the plate and make things interesting? One of the 87 Covenant riders out there trying to challenge their teammate Payson Johnson for supremacy in this class. So what do we think? Here is Payson Johnson mingling among the crowd. All right, so Chance says we got a pile up on the start. Master Yoda says Johnson will pay his son because he's Payson Johnson. Got it. Rextro or Retro with an X in it says go Seth Shirley. T Money Adventures thinks it could be Johnson or Prynn. Sean 625 says Johnson fixing to take him to school again. Cade Miller is feeling Prynn tonight. So we got some Johnson, we got some Prynn, we got some Seth Shirley love up in here. And thank you as well, K5 Ash. I'm really glad to hear you are enjoying the broadcast. It's always fun to have an interactive chat and hear you guys are actually having a good time here hanging out. So appreciate you being in the chat and having a good time. All right, who is going to win this overall here today? At Fox Raceway, Moto 2s are coming up right now. And we saw Nathan Prynn was able to get a great start last time. Let's see if he can do it again. Payson Johnson going to try to outdo it into the first corner. It's 250 Moto number 2 here at Fox Raceway. Looks like a great start actually for Cooper Hunt on the 38 Covenant ride, trying to get to him as he's going through the first turn, and it is Hunt, but it's going to be James Wilcox with the Studio AT Whole Shot Award. So Studio 8 giving whole shots out here tonight, and it's James Wilcox, and a mistake as Cooper Hunt gets landed on, and that's Prynn. Nathan Prynn and Cooper Hunt down on the backside of the step up on the first lap of the race, and the entire field is going by. Nathan Prynn has got his work cut out for him as literally everybody is going on by. It's Wilcox from Spencer, Chris Post, Logan Leitzel, Isaiah Dickerson with a good start. Talon Zollers gets put to the ground, and it causes a bit of a pile up there at the top of the hill. Riders getting stacked up. I actually have not seen the number 1 go by just yet, so I wonder if he's further back of Prynn. Payson Johnson is buried down the field with Nathan Prynn back here, and he's getting kind of hung up on some other riders back here as well. So this is what it's like. We'll go on board with them here and just take a look. Payson Johnson on the first lap, he's in 24th, but just chaos here in the mid-pack. It's so hard when you get a bad start to try to make things happen in a hurry, and he's going to go down. He gets together with Cooper Hunt. Hunt was trying to avoid a downed rider on the inside, and Payson Johnson's laying sideways across the track on the uphill. He is down now in 37th spot as he rolls to the top of the hill, and boy, does he have his work cut out for him. And more riders down at the bottom of the hill on the other side, so Johnson just made about 7 passes. And here he is again, just mixed together with all of this just melee back here, and he's gonna go down again! Payson Johnson, for the second time in just about as many corners, has gone down again. And Nathan Prynne just went by him. So Prynne, 37th Prynne, 38th Johnson. Gerst and Giffen bring up the rear, but our 1-2 from Moto 1 are dead in the back of the pack right now. Unbelievable. As James Wilcox leads this race for Elevated Motorsports. The rider on the number 74 Kawasaki out front. Trevor Spencer is right behind him in second. And I just cannot believe the turn of events we're seeing here. The overalls are absolutely going to be flipped upside down. And we're going to basically have to see how far Prynne and Johnson can go in this race. And Cooper Hunt, who finished on the box in the first moto, was down with Prynne out of that second turn. So this is completely upside down right now, and I think as they run, Trevor Spencer is in line for the overall win. But of course, so much racing left to go. Much better start for Luke Sullivan this time as well. Sullivan, I believe he was 9th in the first moto, is running 8th right now. And he was suffering a similar fate to what we saw out of Johnson and Prynne in the first moto. So James Wilcox jumping back down the hill. Still leading this race, and he is looking smooth as butter. He looks fired up to be out front. It's always a good sign to see that. Sometimes you see guys get out front that maybe aren't accustomed to it, and they kind of fold up a little bit just because they're not used to being in that situation, having the entire field behind you, the pressure of leading the race. Sometimes you get tight immediately, but Wilcox, he still looks comfortable out front, throwing whips and scrubs. He's definitely losing a little bit of time as the laps go by to Trevor Spencer behind him, but he's in a good position so far. Wilcox outside, up the inside. Trevor Spencer tried to make the move there, but it didn't quite work. Still almost right there with him over the whole shot table. Oh, James Wilcox a little sideways coming into the corner there, and Spencer's just putting all kinds of pressure on him. Prynne has climbed up to 21st as an update on him as we continue to see the scroll board across the top of the screen to see where our defending champion Payson Johnson is. And Isaiah Dickerson, who also had a good start, he is buried as well. He's down in 25th right now. 30th place for Payson Johnson. Rough go for him right now, but here it is, battle for the lead. Spencer up the inside at the top of the hill is going to make that pass on James Wilcox, and Trevor Spencer goes to the front at Fox Raceway. A 6th in the first moto, a 1st right now, and with the overalls literally flipped upside down, he is currently in a position to win the opening round of the season. Got 25 minutes left to go, though. And how about Logan Leitzel closing up on this group as well? Leitzel on the number 13, Phil's KTM, has caught up to James Wilcox in a hurry here. So dropping down the hill in the back section again. James Wilcox dealing with that pressure from Logan Leitzel. Leitzel getting a little kick through here. Trying to get that power down, try to size something up through this section. There's not a lot of passing opportunities through here. It's just very funnel in, but you can do something after the finish line jump here. So let's see what lines they take. Leitzel is going to fall into the outside. Does he go outside again into this corner? He does. Oh, and down was Trevor Spencer. Down was Spencer. So Wilcox back to the lead. Leitzel now moves into second place. And Spencer will slide back into third. So Wilcox back out front here at Fox Raceway. It's Wilcox, Leitzel, Spencer, Noah Viney up front here early on, and Jaden Wilson as well in a good position. We got 5 riders pretty much nose to tail out front. Great battling here early on. So does Leitzel have something sized up to get around James Wilcox for the race lead? Cooper Hunt has climbed his way up to 11th. Remember, he was 3rd in the first moto. Might be the biggest threat right now to Trevor Spencer's overall victory. I think he's still going to be on it with a 6-3. Nathan Prynn now finds himself 20th. He was 2nd in the first moto. And Johnson has now climbed up to 24th, your Moto 1 winner. So we'll continue to track their progress. Meanwhile, Leitzel back under attack from Trevor Spencer. So Leitzel, as quickly as he caught Wilcox, is losing ground on him a little bit. And again, this 5-rider train. Noah Viney right in the mix here as well. Jaden Wilson pushing these two up to this group. And you can see, look at 5 riders just about nose to tail going up this hill. Wilson's going to try to go up the inside of Viney. Viney shuts the door. Wilcox, Leitzel, Spencer, Viney, and Jaden Wilson pushing this group all together. 5 riders interlocked, and Wilson by Noah Viney, who missed the inside line. Look at this. Wilson is making quick work. Gets to the inside of Trevor Spencer. Now he's alongside Logan Leitzel. He's going to try to shut the door to the outside, and he does. Jaden Wilson from 5th to 2nd in the blink of an eye. Leitzel trying to go to the outside to fight back. Now launches up the inside of the next corner, and down goes Logan Leitzel. Leitzel trying to send it to hold on for 2nd, and it cost himself dearly there. So Wilcox, who did not finish the first moto, and a big shout out to KR Money, aka First Turn Films in chat, for helping me figure out these overalls as we go on. So Wilcox not going to be in contention for the overall. Jaden Wilson sneaking into the picture might be. Pretty sure he was inside the top 10 in the first moto, somewhere in the 7 or 8 spot, so he's right in there with Trevor Spencer in terms of where the overalls may lie. Noah Viney, though, was outside of the top 10, so again, kind of out of contention for the overall. You got to look at where these guys were in the first moto to compare. And it's just all over the place here. It's going to be so challenging to figure out. But Jaden Wilson doesn't want to waste much more time either. He has caught James Wilcox for the race lead, and Wilson is going to try to go to the front right away. He couldn't quite get the win in Supercross, but he's trying to win the second moto here at Fox Raceway, and he's going to momentarily take the race lead. Wilcox fights back. Wilson down to the inside of this corner. Wilcox a mistake, and Jaden Wilson goes down. Jaden Wilson, as he was about to take the race lead, goes down. 3 riders go by. He's going to pick himself up in 4th, just ahead of Seth Shirley. What in the world is happening at Fox Raceway? These overalls are going to be all over the place. Wilson 10th in the first moto. So again, I still think Trevor Spencer is in the best position to win this overall with a 6-3. Incredible. As James Wilcox continues to lead the race, but now he is being pressured from Noah Viney on the Monkey Racing 243. How about this ride? Noah Viney coming up and trying to battle for the race lead here at Fox Raceway. Wilcox a little case. Viney also did the same. He's going to tuck to the inside here after the finish line. And the battle for the lead at Fox Raceway is on, and it is two unfamiliar characters with this territory. Two guys that have never won a moto, not often have led races. And Wilcox dealing nicely with the pressure. Incredible. So Viney, he did not finish the first moto either. So two guys that got no points in the first moto now battling for the coveted 25 points that the second moto gives. And incredibly enough, we're not even halfway into this race just yet. I always love the argument that I'm looking at in chat too as well, because people always come to sim, and honestly now it's happening in bikes as well, where people look at the game and they go, oh my god, it looks like garbage. Can't believe it's that expensive. And then, like, graphically people always complain that why is Supercross the game and MXGP and MXRZ TV, why are they so concerned with making the game graphically look good, as Noah Viney goes to the race lead at Fox Raceway. But to continue that thought, it's because there's people out there like that that say, oh, the game's graphics aren't good, so it must be like a bad game. It should be a mobile game. But then you have those games, and people complain that they only focus on the graphics, and then the gameplay isn't as good. So literally two flip sides of the coin always. It's so interesting to see that dynamic at play. And I can't believe this battle for the lead, though. Viney has taken over the lead, and James Wilcox is still right there with a shot at it. But Noah Viney is leading here in a Pro National RaceFactory Gaming competition. And he's got 16 minutes and 2 laps left to go to try to hold on. Let's look at the competition behind him. James Wilcox sits in second. Trevor Spencer is in third. Leitzel runs in fourth. Thomas Wilcox is in fifth. Luke Sullivan has climbed up to sixth. Braden Tharp is seventh. Seth Shirley eighth. Jaden Wilson has slipped back to ninth. Chris Post is in 10th. Lane Wofford 11th. Alec Horn 12th. Cooper Hunt is in 13th. And Payson Johnson now finds his way into 14th. So Johnson, not yet halfway into the moto, is starting to slice his way through some positions here and get some valuable points towards maybe winning this overall still, despite the disaster at the opening laps of this race. And behind him, and right behind him at that, is Nathan Prynn. Johnson trying to pass Alec Horn here, and Prynn to the outside of him, trying to fight back. Actually, that's Cooper Hunt now, I'm sorry. So Prynn lost a little bit of time here. Prynn was right behind Johnson, but he went down. So it's Hunt right behind him, excuse me. Johnson now gets around Alec Horn. And remember, Cooper Hunt was third in the first moto. Little mistake for Johnson. Didn't quite get the drive up the hill. Horn trying to fight back around the outside. And Johnson gets a little front end lock and goes down, but he does not fall off the bike there. Oh, Trevor Burns. This is insane, these overalls. This is one of those races where you look at the overall page at the end of the day and you have no idea how we got where we are. But we're looking at two guys that DNF'd the first moto out front here in the second moto, playing serious spoiler for anybody that wants to win the overall. Talk about spoiler. Here comes Thomas Wilcox trying to get third on Trevor Spencer. So Trevor Spencer, we believe, is still in it for the overall at a 6-3, but now it's about to be a 6-4. Wilcox goes by for third. And then he slides out immediately, and Trevor Spencer hits him. Spencer off the side of the track, slicing through goes Luke Sullivan. So Luke Sullivan, who was 9th, I believe, in the first moto, has now made it all the way up to 3rd in this one. And look at this train right here. You got Wilcox, Spencer, Tharp, Shirley in a line. And Leitzel now off the back of this grouping. Jaden Wilson, Wofford, Horn, Hunt, Burns, Post, then Prynn, and then Johnson. So now Johnson is back behind Prynn. He's 16th. Prynn has moved up to 15th. I am at a loss at these overalls right now. We got a guy maybe winning the overall with a 6-4. Like, what? Back to this battle, though, between Viney and James Wilcox. And it continues to rage on for the race lead. Yeah, don't remind me about Cody Penwell's 2-7 to freaking win the Budds Creek National 2014. And my stupid 113 that day was 6th overall. My one chance at maybe winning an overall. And I don't even get on the podium after I win the first moto. Don't remind me. Man, Wilcox is just putting all kinds of pressure. Oh, Wilcox down! A big swap coming into the rollers, and James Wilcox hits the deck. That is going to promote Luke Sullivan to 2nd. Thomas Wilcox goes to 3rd. Leitzel now 4th. Wilcox gets up in 5th. Tharp is 6th. Spencer is 7th. So I think Spencer is out of contention for the overall at this point. And is it maybe Sullivan that is in it with a 2nd? 9-2 maybe? Unbelievable. This is insane. A 9-2 as it stands right now is in line to win the overall at Fox Raceway. And Sullivan, who had, I mean, just an atrocious first moto, I think, by his standards. He really, I think, comes into this championship expecting to contend for the title, is now in a position to leave here with the red plates. Thomas Wilcox giving him everything he can handle here for 2nd, though. And they're still trying to catch Noah Viney, who is still leading this race nonetheless. It is just incredible to see what is happening here at Fox Raceway. Thomas Wilcox losing a little bit of ground to Sullivan. Sullivan trying to run down Noah Viney. 1.5 seconds in it out front. And Luke Sullivan trying to win this 2nd moto and put a stamp on this potential overall victory. The problem is, as good as he's riding and the chance at winning this race, if he gets out front, it all kind of depends on what happens behind him with Cooper Hunt, Nathan Prynn, and Payson Johnson, and how far they get, because Johnson then would just have to finish 8th, and he is your overall winner. Noah Viney has been caught for the race lead, though, and Sullivan has him right in his crosshairs out front. So Viney is led for pretty much the entire middle portion of this race. And now Luke Sullivan is going to try to take his turn out front. He has caught the 243, and he's not looking at wasting too much time to make this pass. Oh my goodness, Sullivan is putting so much pressure here on Viney. And Viney is just, he's having a blast out there, man. Look at, he's throwing whips, he's leading the race. Dealing with this pressure like he's been here the entire time. So Johnson, who has now moved up to 10th, as KR Money in chat lets me know, is in position to win the overall with a 110 to Sullivan's 9-2. And Sullivan, a big mistake, might cost him second. Here comes Wilcox. Oh man, Sullivan getting kicked around. Wilcox up the inside, gonna get by for second. So Sullivan, as quickly as he thought he might be taking over the race lead, gives it right back. And there's so much more action going on through the field, but this battle out front is about to get insane. Thomas Wilcox has caught Noah Viney for the race lead again. Around the outside he goes, jumping down the hill. Almost alongside. Dualies. Not a big one out of Wilcox, but Viney absolutely lays it sideways. Unbelievable action out front, out to the outside. Wilcox goes. He's going to try to get a drive down the straightaway to the inside. And Thomas Wilcox leads. Sullivan trying to follow suit right behind, but it's Wilcox from Viney and Sullivan out front. Viney tries to go to the inside. Jumps across the track, goes inside again. And a crash. Sullivan off the outside of the track. Getting back on now as Braden Tharp is coming down from fourth. And this is an incredible ride out of Tharp as well to be in the mix. But Thomas Wilcox has essentially masterminded his way into the race lead, and Viney is still right on him. What is happening right now? This is insane. All right, so let's reset it real quick here. Wilcox leads, Viney second, Sullivan third, Tharp is fourth, Logan Leitzel's in fifth, Jaden Wilson sixth, Johnson has clawed his way into seventh, Seth Shirley is in eighth, Trevor Spencer is in ninth, Cooper Hunt is in 10th, Nathan Print is in 11th, and look at this battle between these guys. These guys are trying to fight forward. Cooper Hunt, he still kind of has a shot at the overall win. He's going to have to do something about Payson Johnson up the road. Seth Shirley, he's in the mix as well. Print is trying to make something happen. This is insane, this race right now. And this is what happens when you have basically the three best from the first moto all crash on the first lap of the race, and multiple times at that. Johnson went down 3 times on the first lap of the race, and he's in 7th. So Jaden Wilson, Leitzel, Tharp, Sullivan, Viney, Wilcox. And Wilcox has stretched that gap out now on Noah Viney. I'm going to have to dig through the history books a little bit here. I think Thomas Wilcox has a moto win to his credit in his career, but I'm almost positive it's from 2014. So it's been a while. And this is insane to see this effort right now out of Wilcox. He is flying out front. So let's go back to that battle a little further back. How about this one? Jaden Wilson working on Tharp. Leitzel right in the mix as well. Then Johnson just behind them. Seth Shirley has Cooper Hunt right behind him. Trevor Spencer. And then Nathan Prynn. So Prynn is in 11th, but he's got pretty much everybody right in front of him, and the leader's gone down. The leader is down. Thomas Wilcox has crashed away the race lead, and Viney is back out front. Viney, Sullivan, Wilcox now your top 3. Tharp is 4th. Jaden Wilson in 5th. Johnson is all the way up to 6th. And I'll tell you what, folks, Payson Johnson is maybe 10 seconds off the race lead. Payson Johnson could win this moto. Unbelievable turn of events. This race keeps happening. 213.4 to a 215.9, 218.9, 214.9, 227, and a 218.7. That just illustrates right there how much faster Payson Johnson is going than the leaders. Viney's going to have to deal with Sullivan again. And you still have Wilcox right there despite the crash. And these three getting into a battle out front is only going to help Payson Johnson's case. So at this point, Johnson pretty much has that overall win in his hand if he stays upright. If he crashes, it opens up again. But at this point, it's about who's going to win this moto. We got a bunch of guys here who have never won a RaceFactory Gaming National Moto mixed into this. Tharp, Viney's never won one. Wilcox, I think, has, but it's been a while. And Sullivan was able to pick up a win last year, if I'm not mistaken, as well. So you got two guys who have won motos battling two guys who have not inside of the top four, and Viney's holding the lead steady as Sullivan makes a mistake, and Wilcox takes advantage to go by for second. Here comes Wilcox for the lead, side by side with Viney over the finish line jump. Wilcox scrubbing absolutely everything. As a time update, we are 27.5 minutes down. Viney to the outside, Wilcox to the inside. Wilcox back out front, and Fox Raceway again, a lap after he crashes the lead away. But he is certainly pushing the envelope, and Sullivan is going to go around the outside of Viney for second. Unbelievable. Dualies for the race lead. Wilcox, Sullivan, Viney, all mixed together. Viney still tossing huge whips back there. And a mistake! Wilcox down, and Viney down behind him. Sullivan to the race lead. As they both pick themselves up, Jaden Wilson lands off the step up with Braden Tharp and Cooper Hunt in tow. Nathan Prynn is ahead of Payson Johnson, Leitzel, and then Johnson behind. Unbelievable. So Prynn suddenly, oh my gosh, these overalls, I don't even know what's happening anymore. So Johnson just moved back into 8th, which I think puts him back in a spot to win the overall with a 1-8 versus Sullivan's 9-1, Prynn's 2-7, and Cooper Hunt's 3-6. But now it's a 2-6 out of Prynn. This is insane. Sullivan, 11-second lead. Viney still has Wilson right on him. Wilson's trying to go by for second. Wilson was 10th in the first moto. He's going to take over second now. Viney drops back to third. And thank you, Brady White, for the research. I was just a year off, but Wilcox did win one moto in 2015 in the 250 class, so he has a moto victory to his name. And yeah, Jason Stubbs as well. Round 6, Moto 1. He was a little bit more poignant as Prynn goes down. So Prynn goes down, and that is going to change the podium overall. Oh my gosh, I can't even keep up. Time just expired, so 2-lap board out next time by 3 to go. 3 to go at Fox Raceway. Sullivan leads, Wilson second, Viney third, Tharp is fourth, Cooper Hunt is up to 5th. Payson Johnson just got by Leitzel for 6th. Leitzel trying to go to the outside, fight back. Turns to the inside. Not close enough. Viney now in the mix. Johnson up the inside trying to go by Noah Viney. That's going to be for 5th. And he's got him. Close, and Johnson is down again. And he just took, who did he take with him? Wilcox. Wilcox flipping over top. Johnson hitting the deck again. And that allowed everybody through. So Johnson now has Prynn ahead of him again. Prynn is off the track. Prynn just going ahead of Johnson. And they are side by side. This is your two riders that were battling for the moto win in the first moto. Battling it out right now for what? 8th? 7th? Leitzel, Viney, Hunt. So Johnson 7-1. Hunt 3-4. Tharp third now. Wilson up to second, and Sullivan continues to lead the race. Oh my gosh, what is happening? So Hunt, I'm going to have to do math again, but I think Hunt still needs to get second with Johnson finishing 7th to win the overall. I don't think 3-3 does it. 3-3, 40 points. A 7th gets you 14 points. So yeah, actually 7th would do it. And Tharp just went down. But that Tharp crash is going to allow Johnson to get into the picture here and maybe pass Tharp for 6th. This 250 class is insane. And Print is still right there. And a mistake for Johnson again, as Print also makes a slight bobble. So Tharp under heavy attack from these guys behind. So as it currently runs, with Johnson 7th, he's trying to go to 6th, and Johnson goes to 6th. And again, that changes it. But I think it's a better second moto, is it not? So a 6-1 versus a 3-3 for Hunt. A better second moto out of Hunt still wins the overall. He's on 40. Johnson just landed on 40 points. But Hunt, better second moto. And it is the 2-lap board out right now. And Jaden Wilson has taken over the race lead. So Jaden Wilson has passed Luke Sullivan. And Wilson, I believe, is one of the few riders up here that has never won a moto. So Wilson, Sullivan, Hunt, Leitzel, Johnson now up to 5th. That is a 1-point advantage then for Johnson, who would land on 41 points versus 40 for Hunt. Oh my goodness. So, again, let's just give some context to how close this still is right here as we come down the hill. That's Wilson. That's Sullivan in 2nd. Lapped rider in the mix there. And then coming down here in 3rd, that's Cooper Hunt. 4th right there is Leitzel. And then 5th is Johnson. So that's how close Johnson still is to the race leaders here. And he's made so many mistakes late in this race. So white flag going to be coming out this time by, and Johnson still trying to make more points up, trying to catch Logan Leitzel. Doesn't need it, but he's got it. Gets around Leitzel there for 4th. And next ahead of him would be Cooper Hunt, which is pretty much just icing on the cake. As Jaden Wilson is going to come down and take the white flag here in Moto 2 of the 250 class. Sullivan 2nd, Hunt 3rd, Johnson charging as hard as he can into 4th. He launches to flat. .212.9 versus a 2:19 flat out of Hunt. And Sullivan just crashed out of 2nd. So Wilson leads now, and Johnson moves up into 3rd, and he's right behind Cooper Hunt for 2nd in this race. Sullivan remounts and immediately goes off the track. So Leitzel goes by for 4th, Sullivan 5th, Tharp 6th, Viney 7th, Wilcox 8th, and Prinn crashing in 9th. Prinn's day coming unglued here. Mistake from Hunt. Johnson going to sense an opportunity there. By the way, Covenant 1-2-3 at the moment. And Johnson, as mentioned, just trying to put icing on the cake here by passing his teammate for 2nd. Maximize his points on the day. And look at this move. Johnson trying to go up the inside into this corner. Just going to push Hunt out wide, and Johnson is by for 2nd place. So 37th at the end of the first lap, and Hunt goes down trying to charge back up the inside. Johnson has clawed and kicked his way all the way up into 2nd place. Unbelievable. Meanwhile, Jaden Wilson out front never has stood atop the podium in a moto. In the Pro Motocross Championship RaceFactory Gaming competition, couldn't quite get the win clicked off in Supercross either. He was so close on many occasions. this year, but just not close enough in the end. And the flip side of that coin was Payson Johnson was on his coast and won a lot of the races Wilson thought he could win for sure. But it's not going to spoil his party here today. May not have been a great first moto for him, but this second moto is going to be one to celebrate as Jaden Wilson comes down, and Wilson takes the win here in the second moto at Fox Raceway. The first win of his career, and a great one at that. Down to the line, though, the effort of the day goes to Payson Johnson as he takes the win here at the Fox Raceway National with a 1-2 score. Leitzel ends up on the box in third. Hunt crosses the line fourth. And Braden Tharp, mixed together with this entire group, ends up in fifth at the end. Sullivan could have won this race, ends up sixth. You can see the disappointment as he crosses. Wilcox again could have won the moto. He ends up in seventh. Sean Klein comes out of nowhere to finish eighth in this one. Trevor Burns ninth. Noah Viney led so much of this race. He ends up 10th. Seth Shirley 11th. Prin 12th. Alec Horn 13th ahead of Hubbard 14th. Wofford 15th. Trevor Spencer, he was in a shot to win the overall early in this race. He ends up 16th. He kind of fell apart there. And Brandon Nygren bringing it down here in 16th. He's just ahead of Neil Fitzpatrick. Oh my gosh, this race. That was so hard to keep up with what was going on. Nygren going to end up in 17th, 18th Fitzpatrick, 19th to Jack Gatland. And James Wilcox, who also led a large portion of this race, gets 1 point in 20th. That is how crazy this race is, people. That James Wilcox led so much of this race and gets 1 point. So Wilson takes the first win of his career. Johnson picks up where he left off from the championship season last year to win the overall at Fox Raceway with a 1-2 finish. And unofficially, Johnson ahead of Hunt in second on the podium with 3-4, and Wilson 10-1 finishes on the box. Shout out to KR in chat again. Thanks so much for the help with the overalls on the fly there. That was incredible. Waiting for a couple more riders to cross, and we'll get official results in. And I think everybody crossed. Did they not? Are we waiting on anybody? Somebody's still sitting on the gate, or somebody maybe after the finish line jump is there. Is my timing and scoring glitched? Post didn't finish. Oh, Ryan Pinkerton thinks he finished the race, but he did not. He's just sitting off the side of the track. So, weird turn of events here. And Pinkerton finally realizing it, I think maybe, or not. Now he disconnected, so there we go. Let's take a look. Ooh, looks like Nygren lost several spots, went from 17th to 19th on cuts. So much mixing up in the 10 to 20 range. Noah Viney drops to 11th. He was 10th in this one. And everybody in the top 10 stayed the same. So Johnson wins the overall. Wilson ends up third on the day. Cooper Hunt second. It's a Covenant podium sweep at the opening round. And Wilson wins his first career moto. I think these guys are going to be very excited about this one tonight. And incredible action. Hopefully we did a decent job covering that one, because that was very difficult to keep up with everything. But what a race. What an absolute race that was. And we still got one more here to go tonight, as 450 Moto 2 is coming on up. And Leclerc was able to win that first moto. Colby Eaglin stalked him the whole way through. We saw some guys charging from further back that had some bad starts. So it's going to be interesting to see where it ends up in this last race of the night. Oh, man. One final reminder, of course. EatOurJerky.com. Use the code SYS20. That's SYS20 for 20% off your order there. And, of course, atom.com also on board with us here. So head over there, check out their merch line and some cool stuff that Adam Holm is doing with his music career. Luke Sullivan, so close to a win there. And unfortunately ended up 6th in that one. But still, considering all things, a 9-6 at the opener could have been a lot worse for Sullivan. So it comes in here, says, I want to not play sim again. You can see the quick disconnect after the race was over. But still, ends up inside the top 10 both motos when it could have been worse. All right, so 450 Moto 2 loading onto the track. Who have we got into this moto chat? Jeremy Siebold was really strong in the first moto, but some late untimely crashes ultimately affected his chances. Of course, the always very, very fast Alexis Leclerc winning the first moto, trying to retain the red plates, just like Payson Johnson did. A crazy stat coming from chat. Lane Burke saying the only person to lead a lap in that 250 moto and still finish inside of the top 5 was Jaden Wilson, who won the moto. So that may be one of the all-timers in terms of motos that I've ever seen. You don't get that much parity often in this game, especially when you have someone of Payson Johnson's caliber having to start so far back. So we'll see if we can't maybe repeat that here in 450 Moto 2. Braden Carter, fresh off the Supercross Championship, a brutal first moto, 16th in that one. He'll want to turn things around here in this second one. Leclerc trying to go for the sweep of the motos, but a lot of others would like something to say about it when all is said and done here tonight. So again, waiting, loading in here. We got the 87. Still loading in slow, but here we go, folks. Time to drop the gate one final time here tonight. Let's wrap it up in style. It's 450 Moto number 2 live at Fox Raceway. Surprise, surprise. Leclerc gets to the corner first, but he does not lead through the corner. It's Bryce Whelan who's going to bring it down and pick up the Studio 8 Hole Shot Award. The number 25 Phil's KTM rider out front as Leclerc tries to peek up the inside into the second corner, but it's Whelan from Leclerc. Looks like Devin Davis on the 29's got a good start, and Seabolt's also in the mix on the 9. Whelan, one of the few guys that can consistently start with Leclerc. A good start in this one. Tries to lead away early on. Leclerc going to try to make a quick pass for the lead, as that is Leclerc's MO. Get out front and get out of there in a hurry. Whelan swings wide. Leclerc goes to the inside and just pushes him out of the way. And Leclerc takes the lead, but Seabolt right on by for second place. And that can be crucial because Seabolt was one of the few guys to match Leclerc's pace in the first moto. And we'll see whether or not that early pass there pays dividends for Seabolt. And he didn't get held up too much behind Whelan as he tries to keep tabs on Leclerc out front. So Leclerc, Seabolt, Whelan, Speck, Davis inside of the top 5. Lang with a good start in 6th. Caleb Hall 7th. Fjellberg, he's sliding out on the inside. He was in 8th. He goes back to 9th. The Cell goes up to 8th. And Cole Gress rounds out the top 10 here early on as we peek back out front and see what's going on. And already Seabolt starting to put some pressure on Alexis Leclerc out front. Mistake for Seabolt, goes to the middle rut there, lost some time, and Whelan actually looked like he was going to close up there, but then Seabolt charged around the outside, and now he's charging into this corner, and suddenly he's right on the back of Leclerc again, and Whelan comes in hot and pushes Seabolt out in the corner. I don't know how neither rider went down there. Whelan was coming in absolutely sideways into that corner, and I think maybe Seabolt being there allowed him to save it, but then Seabolt obviously got punted wide, and Leclerc leads the first lap of the race. So Seabolt trying to settle in now as Whelan puts the pressure on from behind. Leclerc out front, looking like he is already trying to set off and establish that gap, but I think Seabolt is definitely going to have something to say about it. So Seabolt, he likes this line in this section. He does not get it clean right here, though, but he's going to still try to pop it. But it's going to cost him some time as he didn't get it very clean, and Whelan goes on by, and Lang just went down in fourth. Lang goes down out of fourth, so Caleb Hall squeaks on by to move into fourth. Bob Intercell also moving by. Cole Gress moves into sixth, seventh now for Fjellberg, eighth for Devin Davis, ninth now for Caden Speck, and Lang rounds out the top 10, and still no sight of your current Supercross champion, Braden Carter. Maybe all the pressure of winning that Supercross title for him has turned into a rough start to his outdoor campaign, as now Caleb Hall makes a mistake out of fourth and goes off the track. So a lot of guys kind of shuffling some positions around here. Bobby DeSell and Cole Gress are nose to tail. Jeremy Seabolt looking up the track to see Bryce Whelan still in second, but Leclerc trying to streak away, and it might have been Seabolt's only opportunity to do something about it, because Leclerc is already pulling out a nice lead here. 3.8 seconds in the early runnings of this one on Whelan, and then Seabolt further back of that. Then DeSell, Gress, Hall, Fjellberg, Lang, Davis, Speck, Galloway with a good start. Magnetti's up here. Blake O'Brien just went down. He was in a good spot, and he has got his work cut out for him. Magnetti, he was third in that first moto. He finds himself in the mix up here as well, behind Galloway. Speck trying to go to the outside there of teammate Devin Davis. Davis trying to work on Tyler Lang just ahead of him. You know, the two-stroke of Jack Haley there in the background. He was in 15th. Close fighting among all of these guys here, kind of mixed together. Oh, Cole Gress just went off the track, and that will cost him 3 positions, almost 4, and Devin Davis down as he was trying to avoid Cole Gress rejoining the track right there. Not the best track re-entry out of Gress. All right, so Leclerc from Whelan, Seabolt, Hall, Fjellberg, Lang in a train here. Go on board with Lang as Fjellberg trying to go to the outside of Caleb Hall. Lang to the outside. He got around Hall coming down the hill. Now he's trying to work on Fjellberg for the 4 spot. Lang and Fjellberg side by side up to the top of the hill. Fjellberg shuts the door. Lang has to settle in behind him as they come down the hill now. Oh, dualies over the table. Yeah, Fjellberg is certainly holding his own against Lang. Of course, he's no slouch. He's a former 250 Series champion. But Lang lately has been on fire, and that's going to be the pass done right there at 2:13.5. And Lang goes by for 4th. Momentarily so, though. Fjellberg trying to fight back around the outside, but Lang shuts the door and makes that pass stick. So now Fjellberg dealing with pressure from Caleb Hall, and Caden Speck not too far behind that. Go a little further back, we see Luke Magnetti. He is running in 8th. Cade Matherly, solid 9th so far for him, and Eagland has found his way inside of the top 10. Cole Gress 11th. Devin Davis slipped back to 12th. Jack Haley 13th. Bobby DeSalle 14th. Braden Carter down here in 15th again with Adam Holm right behind him in 16th. Jeremy Cohenauer 17th. Robert Galloway 18th. Aaron Rockefeller 19th. And Dylan Smith in the final points paying position with an early run through the field here in 450 moto number 2. Back to the Hall-Fjellberg battle. Jumping down the hill, Caleb Hall keeping close here behind Fjellberg. But Fjellberg starting to stretch it out a little bit. Lang scooting away from him up the road. And then Siebold kind of riding a lonely race, but it's not going to be too lonely any longer. Bryce Whelan just made a big mistake at the top of the hill. And Siebold is looking to capitalize. So Siebold has his eyes set on Bryce Whelan. Up the road, though, Leclerc 2:09 flat, 13.1 or 13 flat second lead now on Bryce Whelan. And a 2:12.7 out of Siebold last time. So Siebold not matching Leclerc's pace, at least at the moment. We'll stick on board with him for this lap here and see whether or not something changes. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go back to this battle here because this looks insane. Davis, Gress, DeSalle, Haley, Magnetti, Speck, Carter, Holm, and Cohenauer off the back of it. Look at how close these guys all are. I don't want to miss this action. Oh, Gress side by side with DeSalle. Devin Davis just off the front of this group, and Gress and DeSalle still side by side. So Davis at the lead of this is in 9th, but that's going to be DeSalle's spot now. Gress trying to pull up alongside of him. Tosses it into the rollers, and now Jack Haley's also going to go around Devin Davis. Ooh, big kick out there for Magnetti, and he goes down. Just got pushed a little wide in the corner. Front end tuck, and down he goes. Loses 4 or 5 spots in the process there. And of course, mixed into this is your newly crowned 450 Supercross champion, Braden Carter. 16th in the first moto, pretty much in the same spot here in the second moto. So he is hoping to go through this grouping. Working on Devin Davis just ahead of him, his teammate. Nice move by Carter up the inside. Davis just ran a little bit wide there, and Carter took full advantage. Now, coming up behind, though, Adam Holmes sneaking into the picture. Carter trying to sneak away from this group and catch up to Jack Haley, who's just off the front of them, now in 11th. Cole Gress in 10th. Bobby DeSalle 9th. Cade Matherly in 8th. Caleb Hall up the road in 7th, trying to go around or maybe get past there by Colby Eagland. So this is a battle for the 6th spot on track right now between Colby Eagland and Caleb Hall. Nice line for Hall there. That's going to allow him to get out a little bit more on Eagland. Then Matherly, Gress, Haley still in this freight train, and Carter is coming. Carter's caught this group in quite a hurry. He is already on the back of Jack Haley right now. Go on board with the number 19 machine. See from his point of view. Make a pass right there. Didn't know who that was. Is one of these no-skin Huskies I've got up here. Carter trying this outside line. Interesting to see that Haley on the 2-stroke going inside and still getting plenty of momentum to do some stuff up that uphill. Oh, mistake though. Haley and Cole Gress get together. Carter jumps right over the top of him, and Carter is now into 8th. He's going to work on trying to catch Caleb Hall. Colby Eagland up to 6th. Fjellberg is in 5th. Lang 4th. Seabolt 3rd. And he is still trying to catch Bryce Whelan. It is stagnated a little bit at this point, with Seabolt not making too many inroads up ahead of him. Does not mean that Whelan is completely out of the water just yet, and Leclerc's gap has come down. Oh, and Whelan goes down just as we started talking about him, so Seabolt will go by for 2nd now. And Leclerc, I don't know if he made a mistake or something. Well, now he's making a mistake. Leclerc down out of the lead. And that's going to allow Seabolt to gain a lot of time right here, and he's going to do this whoop line up the hill, gain a lot of time. So suddenly he's going to be within about 5 seconds there of Leclerc. Goes down to 5.8, but it's going to go even lower as he lands this table. 5.1. And the race is on at the front. Seabolt doubling up the hill there so smoothly. And Leclerc, he's got clear racetrack in front of him, does Alexis Leclerc, so that is going to benefit him, obviously. Trying to put down some qualifying laps and reestablish the gap as we approach the halfway mark of this 450 Moto 2. So 2:11.9 for Seabolt last time by. And for Leclerc, he's been in the 2:12s, it looks like. So Seabolt has been inching forward in the last few laps here. But I'm curious to see if that pace is continuing, because he's still doing 2:11s. And what does Leclerc respond with now next time by? So yeah, 2:11 flat. Seabolt just ran his best lap of the race, as Leclerc did a 2:19.8. So Leclerc may have actually been going back down towards the 2:09, 2:10 area with that 2:19 and a fall-off crash situation. But still noted that Seabolt is improving his pace as well, as he is now seeing Leclerc ahead of him as a little bit of a carrot dangling in front of him. So then you got Whelan in the 3 spot, Lang 4th, Fjellberg 5th. Eagland trying to go by though for 5th. Not quite going to make it happen just yet, but he's still battling with Fjellberg here. And remember, Eagland was the man who finished up 2nd in the first moto. He was oh so close to Leclerc for much of that race, pretty much just within a fall-off crash distance, but Leclerc just did not make a mistake, unlike we just saw here in this second moto. Look at Eagland trying a little inside line. Didn't quite work, but he certainly got close. And he is pushing Dennis Fjellberg right now. Fjellberg on that number 3, Phil's Racing KTM. And Fjellberg, one of the few guys, Leclerc I guess included, that has a career number from a long time ago. Fjellberg earned that number 3 by winning the 2014 250 National Championship in this game. And as he makes a little mistake and allows Eaglin to go by, you just don't see many of those guys still around. You think back to that era, and you had Jesse Mullins at the time, who was number 10, but he was about to win his first of 3 outdoor championships, and he selected number 9. And of course, number 9 is no longer Jesse Mullins' number. That's Jeremy Seabolt's number. You had Zach Dupuis, who had just won the 2013 450 National Championship. He was number 6 at the time, and then relinquished that number a little bit after that, and Colton Mitchell now occupies number 6. JS4, Jeremy Smith has been 4 for a lot of that time as well. So really Smith, Fjellberg, and Leclerc, kind of the 2 guys that are left from that era with those career numbers still from those championships. Little interesting tidbits about sim history there. And a 2:10.9 versus a 2:11.3 last time by, so 4/10 gain for Leclerc, and he is slowly but surely inching that gap back out over Seabolt. But new problem being placed in front of Leclerc, and that is lap traffic. He is about to catch a group of 2 guys that are down, and they're both going to get up right in front of him, and they're kind of messing with each other. In fact, one is jumping out from underneath the Leclerc. They both let him go by. I think those 2 are either arguing with each other or something along those lines. Yeah, number 2 is another number that quite honestly has seen its fair share of different riders occupy it. You had obviously Austin Jones have number 2 for a while, and then you had Byron Downen, I believe, was number 2 for a little bit there. And then Hunter Root, I think, took 2 for a little bit. Then Fresquez had 2 for like a year. And now Jack Haley has number 2. As Seabolt clips a hay bale coming down the hill. And boy, oh boy, what a save that was. Most likely saving his chances at winning this moto with the way Leclerc is ridden today. All right, so a little over 10 minutes and 2 laps still to go here, and Leclerc, charging his way through, is going to be coming up to tick on to lap number 10. And lays down a 2:12.6. So I think Seabolt's pretty much going to match that this time through. Oh, 2:13.2 actually. So no, he was another 0.6 off. So Seabolt continues to lose a little bit of ground here and there. It's just a cat and mouse game between these 2, really. They just keep kind of yo-yoing the lap times and sector times and things like that. Yeah, Root did take 5, but I swear there was a year there where he selected 2. He was like 11, then 2, then 5, or something like that. But maybe you're right. So maybe it was just Jones, and then Downen, and then Fresquez, and then Haley. So pretty elite company of riders to have owned number 2. But obviously, if you own a single digit in the game ever, you're in pretty rarefied air. The gap continues to open up between Seabolt and Leclerc, out to 7 seconds now. Lang has moved up to 3rd around Whelan, so that's a change for position we missed. Whelan has coughed up the 3 spot, and Lang is continuing to move forward. Eaglin is still in 5th, and Carter has moved his way up to 6th, so this is a much better Braden Carter than we saw in the first moto right there. Fjellberg 7th, Holm 8th, Hall 9th, and then Jack Haley on said number 2 machine runs inside of the top 10. So he's looking to go 6'10 on a 252 stroke out here at the opening round. Cade Matherly runs 11th for Stance. Luke Magnetti is 3rd in the first moto, 12th right now for BPC. 13th is Cole Gress for Yogi. 14th belongs to Caden Speck here on the Phils, number 75 KTM. 15th for Devin Davis, also of the Phils racing team. 16th there for Kyle Carpenter, Tiger Designs, number 39. 17th for Braden Castellaneta on the Underground RC effort. 18th for William St. Laurent on the BPC, number 45. 19th for Jeremy Cohenauer on the MV Films, number 20. And Robert Galloway on the 136 machine is the last rider in the points. Bobby DeSalle, Chase Blakely, Aaron Rockefeller, Carter Hutcherson, Dylan Smith takes us down to 25th, the guys outside of the points there. So Seabolt's taken over the lead. Seabolt has taken over the race lead, and we completely missed what happened, but now Leclerc is doing the chasing. All right, we've got some action here at Fox Raceway in the late stages of this race. Leclerc has to do the chasing. He has led pretty much all day long here. And now Seabolt is the one out front. So what happens in this situation? Does Leclerc regroup quickly here and make things happen? Or has Seabolt figured out the code and cracked Leclerc a little bit? Now Seabolt, I believe, finished up in, what was it, 4th in the first moto. So this does not affect the overall, but point standings wise, this is obviously taking some points away from Leclerc that he otherwise would have been perfect on the day. We'll see whether or not Leclerc can respond. And no, he's not. He's actually going to go down. Leclerc hitting the deck. And now Tyler Lang is going to go by for second. So now I'm going to need some help. I think that Seabolt was 4th in the first moto, but if he was 3rd, he is in line for the overall suddenly. Bryce Whelan, Colby Eaglin still 4th and 5th, and Whelan obviously closer to Leclerc. And with 25 minutes about to crest on the clock, time is of the essence, really. Leclerc does not have much time to swing things back in his favor. All right, so confirmation from chat. Seabolt was 3rd in the first moto, which means he is currently in line to win the overall at the opening round of the season. And wouldn't that be something after Leclerc has essentially dominated all day long? So Tyler Lang trying to play a bit of a spoiler role here, but obviously he wants to keep points away from Leclerc. They're all trying to dethrone him and keep him from winning that elusive 5th championship in the RaceFactory Gaming Pro Motocross Championship. Leclerc losing touch a little bit with Lang. So Leclerc put down a dreadful 2:31.8 on that last lap, and that is the lap that ultimately hurt him there, lap 11. 3.3 seconds. I mean, Lang is quite honestly doing Leclerc's pace right now, it seems like. I want to see what Leclerc runs here. 2:12.9, 2:12.7 out of Lang. So there you go. 2:13.3 out of Siebel. So with not much time left, you can't really expect that Lang is just going to catch Siebel on merit alone, even though he's running faster pace right now. But there is still some time left for some shenanigans. A Siebel crash would certainly throw a wrench into this whole thing. But Leclerc is trying to catch Lang to steal the overall win back in his favor. Gosh, it's so crazy to see those 450 guys do that line right there. I don't know how they make it work. Laptrider getting up from a crash there in the background. So Whelan and then Eagland. Carter is caught up to Eagland as well for a potential top 5 here, which is a good turnaround for Carter after a so-so first moto. And interestingly enough, that is exactly how Carter's season started in Supercross. Well, he did actually have a good first couple rounds, but then he had a bit of a lull, if I remember right. And it wasn't until more the mid part of the season he wicked it up, started winning races consecutively. And curious to see if that's a similar situation to what we see outdoors with him. Will he find a new groove in the midpoint of the season and be able to get up front, battle with Leclerc, Lang, Siebel on a more frequent occasion? Yeah, and just so people get a little clearer picture in chat, I'm not saying Carter is not a team hopper, but he was on Swap Moto Live to start Supercross, and I don't remember the reason why he was left or forced out or whatever, but the team that he joined, EVP, is his own team. He actually was running that team already, and there was some other riders on it. And so when he left Swap Moto, he just basically joined the team that was already running as his, and then finished out that season. And I'm almost positive EVP is now Phil's. So it's still his team. Like, he hasn't really necessarily team hopped per se, but I get the aesthetics of it. Looks strange because it's, again, another new, different team, whatever you want to call it. On the outside. And up the inside there of Eagland to make a nice pass. But Eagland fights back and gets back up the inside of him, so they're still side by side. Kind of dualies. Good battle here, though. And big dualies over the step up there. Good battle between these two, and it ends in blows as Eagland runs him to the tough blocks and basically said, you either let off or you go down, and Carter goes down. So Carter remounts, still in 6th, and Leclerc is still trying to catch Lang. Time has expired, and I'll tell you what, folks, Tyler Lang might have something to say about this race win. He has got his eyes set on Siebel ahead of him. The gap is now down to 3.9 seconds. He did a 2:12.7 last time by to a 2:13.8, so he was over a whole second faster, and he's going to have 2 more laps to work with here. This is going to be interesting to see because Siebold obviously wants to win this thing and get the red plate. Now, he will have a share of the red plate. You can have ties in this series and have 2 riders with the same amount of points, and thus they share the red plate. Though Siebold will win the overall on the day with the better second moto score, it'll still be a tie atop the championship standings. So this would be to knock that apart and instead give Leclerc sole possession of the championship lead if Lang can catch and pass Jeremy Siebold ahead of him. And you know what? Leclerc still in it as well. He is right on Lang. So this is all coming kind of to a head here a little bit. Oh, but Leclerc just went down. So now it's between Lang and Seabold for the win. Seabold versus Lang for the win here at Fox Raceway 450 Moto number 2. Oh, Lang, a mistake. He had gotten it down to 2.5 seconds, and that mistake cost him 2 more seconds onto that. 4.5 seconds with a lap to go here, and that is going to be a lot tougher of a hill to climb. The difference is, though, Seabold is about to run into some lap traffic. I don't mean like literally, but he's about to catch them. There's a rider down right there. And there's a group at the top of the hill ahead of him that he's probably going to have to go through. But Seabold out front and in cruise control to a degree. And Leclerc probably kicking himself now that he went down, because Lang's small mistake would have been the door of opportunity opening up for Leclerc to get back around him and win the overall in the same punch. But now Seabold's going to have 1 lap left to try to claim the opening round of the season here at Fox Raceway. Lang is still trying to give it everything he's got. 3.9 seconds down at 2:15.8. He's going to hate it. That is going to be what probably cost him this race win. But he can still see Seabold, and he's pretty much just going to put everything he can into it to try to catch him on this last lap. Rider down. Is that Seabold? That is Seabold! Jeremy Seabold is down! And he has coughed up the lead, the overall, and the points lead in 1 mistake on the last lap of the race. Unbelievable turn of events. And Leclerc is now in position to win the overall. Lang has slid into a position here to win the second moto, and I think this 4-1 will get him on the box as well. Unbelievable. I cannot believe that was a weird spot to go down. I can almost guarantee you what happened, though, is he swapped at the top of the single jump, landed in transition, and had an instant fall off because he was not on the ground for that long. But, oh, so unfortunate for Seabold, who had this thing won. And now Lang is going to steal the show a little bit here at the end. Seabold is still charging, and he's going to go down again. And that is going to give Leclerc second, which will no doubt, of course, solidify his overall win and the points lead that he was already going to have. So Seabold collapses on the last lap of the race here and is going to give Leclerc the overall. He's going to give Lang the second moto win. And he's going to give himself a bit of a shame tour here down to the checkered flag. But Tyler Lang will be jubilant in this one in his 450 Pro Motocross debut. Brings it down to the line, and Tyler Lang is going to win the second moto here at Fox Raceway. In turn, though, Leclerc, who was dominant for 50 minutes of today, is going to bring it home in second and survive Seabold's attack. Alexis Leclerc is the winner of the Fox Raceway National. Jeremy Seabold will come down and finish this one up in third after looking like he was going to win the race and the overall. Colby Eagland, he'll end up fourth in this one, which might put him on the podium as well. 2-4, we'll see. Bryce Whelan comes down. He'll finish up in fifth. And Carter should be solid here in sixth. Jack Haley in seventh. Going to go 6-7 on a 252 stroke here. Gets the best players in the world. Adam Holm here in 8th in his return to RaceFactory Gaming Pro Motocross. Dennis Fjellberg will finish up in 9th most likely, and Luke Magnetti Looking around at our top 10, Caleb Hall 11th, Kyle Carpenter 12th, Braden Castaneda 13th, Chase Blakely right behind him 14th, and Devin Davis right behind him 15th. So 3 riders still fighting for what it's worth here to the flag. Oh, Davis to the outside of the lap traffic, and Blakely to the inside. And this lap traffic is being a nuisance right now. Jeffrey Bruns not getting out of the way of this battle. And Davis trying to fight down to the flag. So close with Blakely. Blakely ends up 14th. And Aaron Rockefeller just got together with Jeremy Cohenauer in the last corner. So Rockefeller is going to end up there in 16th. Cohenauer will end up in 17th. St. Laurent 18th, 19th will be Cole Gress, and Bobby DeSalle looks like he's going to get the last point there in 20th. Caden Speck and Robert Galloway missing out on points. And update from KR Money in chat says that Leclerc wins the overall, of course, with a 1-2. Lang 6-1 for second, and Seabolt 3-3 for third. They tie on points with Eagland. Does Lang, Seabolt, and Eagland are all tied on 40 points, but of course because Lang, the better second moto score than Seabolt, he finishes second. Seabolt, the better second moto score than Eagland, he finishes third, but there is a 3-way tie for second in the standings now there, as Carter loses a spot to Jack Haley, so Haley goes 6-6 on the day. And trying to look if anything else changes. Wow, big drop down. Kyle Carpenter goes back from, what, 12th to 14th there. And Blakely goes from 14th to 15th. Devin Davis goes from 15th to 12th on cuts. And the rest stays the same. So Lang wins the race. Leclerc wins the moto, and Leclerc wins the race. Leclerc the winner of the 2021 Fox Raceway National in MX Simulator. Well, that is going to do it for us here at Start Your Systems tonight. Another great night of racing on hand, and kicked off the Pro Motocross Championship in MX Sim with a bang. The 250 racing was insane. The 450 class had a last lap change for the overall, so I don't think you could ask for much better than that out of tonight. Of course, want to give a big thanks to rjerky and atom.com for coming on board with us here on the stream this year. Hopefully you guys had a blast watching in chat. Great night of racing to have the chat all involved. Of course, the donations were awesome. Thanks to every single one of you that donated. And we'll be back next week with the Thunder Valley National. Same time, same place. We're looking forward to seeing you guys then. But for now, we're going to sign off and send you guys on your way here on this lovely Wednesday night, wherever you are in the world. So we'll see you guys next Wednesday for the Thunder Valley National. And look forward to seeing you guys then. Bye-bye for now.
It's just me and you.